The government is pledged to enhance incentives in Kenya's health sector to attract more healthcare service providers. President William Ruto says the approach will enhance the well-being of citizens. Let's get the details of that story.
Nearly 70% of Kenya's healthcare services are provided by the public sector through the Health Ministry and other government agencies. This is according to the Ministry of Health. The government says it is looking to build on this through more collaboration with the private sector to enhance health services.
It is with clarity that I believe the best way the most efficient way of delivering on our health objective is to create a seamless partnership.
Outstripping the provision of health services and placing a heavy burden on the government health facilities. We are pleased that the new hospital will play a crucial role in helping the government in its efforts to offer high quality and affordable health care to all citizens.
Speaking at the official opening of the new AAR hospital along Kiambu Road in Nairobi County, President William Ruto assured investors of Kenya's intent to foster the growth of new enterprises in specialized sectors.
We intend to turn Kenya into the most attractive destination for healthcare and medical tourism in Africa and possibly globally. I am confident that we can and will achieve our objective because all that is required is the right people and the right investment.
The president noted that the government will endeavor to lower the cost of medicine and medical supplies.
The Azimio La Umoja coalition has fired Isiolo Senator, that is Fatuma Dulo, from her position as minority whip in what is seen as the beginning of a crackdown on members who have aligned themselves to the ruling Kenya Kwanza. Azimio leader Raila Odinga has elevated Narok Senator Ledama Olekina to the whip position, with his new deputy being the Nairobi Senator, that is Edwin Sifuna. The changes will await ascension by Senate Speaker, that is Amason Kingi.
Owing to the visit by a section of ODM MPs and 30 Jubilee MPs to State House, Azimio leader Raila Odinga has flexed his muscles by disciplining the errant members. After locking out Langata MP Felix Odiwuor, alias Jalango, from an Azimio parliamentary group meeting last week, the Azimio leader has extended his whip to the Senate. After an ODM Senate parliamentary group meeting Wednesday afternoon, Raila announced the firing of Isiolo Senator Fatuma Dulo from the minority whip position.
The minority leader is Honorable Stewart Mazayo, deputed by Honorable Senator Enoch Wambua from Kitui, and the whip is Honorable Ledama Olekina, deputized by Honorable Edwin Sifuna.
Raila says he's putting his troops in order as he champions the fight for electoral justice.
Kenyans must defend electoral justice. People fought for a long time to bring multi-party back to this country, and they are not going to surrender that again and take this country back to the dark days of single-party dictatorship.
The former premier has organized a series of pressure rallies in Kisii and Kisumu this weekend and a prayer session for the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, which he says will be conducted outside the IEBC Anniversary Towers offices.
Plans to adopt an identification regime have gathered momentum following the launch of the training for civil registration officers. The rollout of the unique personal identifier that is set for the 1st of March 2023 will ease the registration of births and deaths and help clear backlogs at the Register of Persons. UPI will serve as the ID number on attaining 18 years, the registration number for National Hospital Insurance Fund, that is NHIF, National Social Security Fund, NSSF, and the driving license number.
Immigration Principal Secretary Julius Bitok, the unique personal identifiers will act as a lifetime ID for newborns.
So when they are born, the nurse will go to e-citizen portal, where they will key in the ID number of the mother. Information is populated, then the registrar will confirm, or rather will approve to say this child is a Kenyan.
The identifier will be issued across the country to children who are of Kenyan citizenship.
A lot of paperwork will be drastically reduced. Okay, you'll be more efficient. Our projection is once all these 5,000 services have been onboarded, we are projecting because the current government revenue is about 1.3 trillion. We believe that will be threefold.
We are in what we call technological revolution. What drives the world now is technology. That is why we cannot be left behind.
In compliance with the Births and Deaths Registration Act, it will also be adopted for children born outside the country to Kenyan citizens and who are eligible for Kenyan citizenship. Piers Abitok, however, clarified that UPI is not intended to be a substitute for the Huduma number that was introduced under the previous administration.
To a story that we had brought you earlier on, and that is panic has gripped Tiatis sub-county following the announcement of the deployment of the military to banditry-prone areas in the country. Some locals have told KBC that they'd rather flee the area than face the military. Others have decided to close their businesses ahead of the operation, which is in response to the runaway insecurity.
A spot check by KBC around Tiaty town has revealed that locals are worried about the impending arrival of the military there, closed businesses, paralysis in the transport sector, and a community in flight. Add the stories here. Those courageous enough to stay put want the operation to be conducted within the confines of the law.
Tungeomba serikali kwamba kafyu iwe kitu ambayo inatofautisha huyu ni mtu mkora ama, kwa sababu kuna saa hii kuna sana watu wanatumia kafyu kwa njia nyingine ya kujifaidisha. So hiyo ndio kitu tungeomba, watafute njia mzuri ya kutusaidia, wafuate mkora, na sisi wale hatuna makosa tufanye biashara zetu, tuendelee na maisha yetu.
Kwa hivyo serikali wafanye hima, watafute wakora. Hatukatai, hatuna wakora, tuko nao, lakini wako sehemu mbalimbali, hawako town.
Another resident tells us that life is already tough here. Businesses are hurting and they cannot withstand more problems.
Tukifungua sasa kasi za 11, ndio hiyo tena hii mboga tena hatutajua kama itakuja tena juu wataanza sasa kufunga barabara, tutaanzia wapi? Tutalisha na nini watoto? Si tutahangaika. Ndio tena watoto wanaenda shule, tutalisha na nini? Na ukame sasa hatuna mashamba, hatuna kitu, tutalisha na nini?
No one has surrendered a firearm as ordered by the Interior Ministry, and time is ticking.
Naomba machifu waongee na wananchi, wasingoje paka wapigwe ndio warudishe bunduki. Kama huko na bunduki ambao unajua ni haramu, operation iko na hiyo operation ni real, si ya mchezo. Kwa hivyo ili mtu awe on the right side, tii amri ya serikali, tii agizo ya serikali.
In Turkana County, elders want leaders held accountable.
Afunge ile boda ya Uganda na West Pokot, kwa sababu hiyo boda ndio inatoa bunduki. Wakati sasa operation wanaenda mpaka wapi? Wanaenda Uganda, wanajificha huku, dakika ya mwisho wanarudi na bunduki.
Wajeshi waingie, wafuruge, wanyang'anya watu mabunduki, na wakitaka kunyang'anya watu bunduki, sio kunyang'anya watu bunduki, tuwezi nyang'anya. Hizo ng'ombe zimejaa hapo ndio zimebeba bunduki.
The elders allege that bad leadership is the heart of the runaway banditry.
Thank you, Beatrice Gatonye, for that report. Now, no woman in Kenya holds top business position, such as Chief Executive Officer in any media company. This is according to the 2022 Women in News Leadership Mapping. However, 33% of women in media in Kenya occupy editorial lead positions. Media houses have therefore been challenged to ensure more women are sent to the decision-making positions.
The 2022 Women in News Leadership Mapping consists of data collected in 192 media companies in 17 countries. The findings are divided into two categories, including business lead and editorial lead. The business lead consists of decision makers such as chief executive officers, while the editorial lead consists of editors-in-chief and executive directors. Kenya ranks lowest alongside Rwanda and Somalia, with no woman occupying the business lead position. Zambia, on the other hand, has 20% of women in business lead positions. In the editorial lead positions, Zambia has 57% of its women, followed by Tanzania at 56%, Malawi at 42%, Kenya at 33%, and Somalia accounts for 0%. Speaking on behalf of the ICT Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo, the National Director of Public Communications in the Ministry, Miriam Rahedi, challenged media houses to be at the forefront in ensuring gender parity.
This is a clear demonstration that we need to have conversations on gender parity in our newsrooms. As the government strives to meet the one-third gender rule, we appeal to the media to implement the same in our newsrooms.
And you know, power never gives. Power is grabbed, isn't it? You want something, you push, mpige kelele, then the boys club wanaona aibu wanawachilia kamoja, isn't it?
Kenya needs to think. There are days we had women who are CEOs. There are days we had women who are editors-in-chief and managing editors, and the situation needs to change.
They spoke in Nairobi during a skills building and networking conference by the Women in News Kenya Alums chapter.
200,000 learners are yet to report to junior secondary school more than 2 weeks after the commencement of the first term. Education Cabinet Secretary, that is Ezekiel Machogu, says the government will work to ensure adherence to the 100% transition policy, calling on parents to take their children to school. Machogu says a multi-agency task force has been established to conduct a mop-up to ensure all the learners report to school.
The ambitious 100% transition policy appears to be in limbo. The government says close to 250,000 learners are yet to report to grade 7.
We are requesting the chiefs and assistant chiefs, Interior Ministry, to assist each other with my officers on the ground to make sure that each and every child gets into a junior secondary school.
Education CS Ezekiel Machogu has cautioned parents against transferring grade 7 and 8 learners to other schools.
Probably from levels 7 to 8, that will not be acceptable. And within the NEMI system, it will not be accepted, it will not be captured.
The CS who was speaking at Kenya School for TVET reiterated the government's commitment to align itself with the 21st century competent skills through the skilled labor institutions.
And we have promoted 3,329 tutors to various levels.
Meanwhile, the rebranding of TVET institutions is already underway across the country.
In 2019, there was a criteria that was developed and approved for deployment of principals. That criteria, once again, we are requesting it can be used so that we can have equity.
TVET principals are urging the government to double up efforts in resourcing the institutions for better output. With TVETs being the key driver to producing individuals with skills for self-employment, embracing them will help the country deal with the huge unemployment menace. Reporting for Prime Edition from Gigiri in the county of Nairobi, I'm Ruth Wamboy.
Thank you, Ruth Wamboy, for that report. Now, a sharp division ensued at the National Assembly on Wednesday as legislators debated the constitutional amendment proposal brought before the House through a memo by the President. While members allied to the Azimio La Umoja coalition strongly opposed the motion, terming the amendment a non-priority for Kenyans amid the tough economic times, legislators allied to the ruling party argued that the issues raised are equally pertinent and timely. Kenya Kwanza maintained that the office of opposition leader is not for particular individuals, but for posterity.
Assembly. A day after the bicameral parliament resumed its sittings with a full in-tray of business for consideration, the 4 proposals by the president in an executive memo were given priority. The constitutional amendment to create an official opposition office, dividing the House into 2.
There are those who want us to imagine that we need to go into a referendum, and therefore the push to go back to BBI that was seeking to create positions for individuals. Honorable Speaker, I have said we must disabuse that notion even as we generally debate these proposals.
I therefore urge this House, as we debate,
to look at the reality of our country, to look at national interest, to look at legislating not only for posterity but also for uniting this country.
Of the 4 issues that have been raised in the President's memorandum, 3 issues would expressly require referendum. Only one relating to the funds, especially CDF funds and the Oversight Fund, would not require referendum under Article 255(3).
Justice and Legal Affairs Chair, who is set to lead the committee in conducting public participation on the proposals, says the decision will lie with the people.
If we go to Capitol Hill, where it used to be the last time, possibly to be said we are going for mwosho moja. So, where do we find him? Where do we take his views from? Do we meet him in one of the committee rooms in the parliament? That is dishonorable. From now henceforth, we should consider according that office the respect it deserves.
Members also differed on the proposal to amend standing orders to allow cabinet secretaries answer questions in the chamber, saying it will be allowing strangers in the house.
Instead of writing memorandums to us, these are issues we can deal with. We can sit down as a country and agree that we want to go the route of constitutional amendment to introduce the official leader of opposition, to introduce cabinet secretary to come to parliament and become members of parliament instead of passing through the back door and escape routes to look for a way of bringing strangers in the house.
That the president wants to bring an issue of constitutionality whereby you don't fight the person who was second after the president is just trying to fit. Is just trying to beg for positions. That person should have an official office, should have all constitutional support.
Members were, however, unanimous on proposals to implement the 2/3 gender rule and entrench various national government funds, such as the NGCDF, into the Constitution, saying they were long overdue. Meanwhile, Senate is set to start considering the budget policy statement for the financial year 2023-2024, medium-term debt management strategy, the Division of Revenue Bill and the County Allocation of Revenue Bill.
I urge you all to prioritize the scrutiny of the budget policy statement, taking into consideration our most important function of safeguarding devolution.
Meanwhile, proceedings at the Senate almost came to a halt Wednesday after senators allied to Azimio walked out, claiming the Speaker failed to communicate minorities' whip leadership changes forwarded to him.
Thank you, Kamche Menza, for that report. Now to news making headlines in the counties where 2 people have died while 3 others sustained serious injuries in a road accident involving a police lorry and a motorcycle along the Lare and Tobeto Road in Igembe North Sub-County in Meru County. For this and more in the County News Roundup.
John Kimathi said the boda was carrying 4 pillion passengers and the rider when the accident occurred. The rider died on the spot and the pillion died while receiving treatment.
Mwenye kuendesha pikipiki, the rider alikufa at the spot. Halafu huyo abiria mwingine alienda akafia hospitali pale Maua. And then wale wengine 4 wangali wako hospitali wanaendelea na matibabu.
Meanwhile, an audit of the Kisii County payroll has revealed that the county has been losing over 8 million shillings every year to ghost workers.
There is fraud of overpayment whereby 32 employees with variance of their job grades in appointment letters versus payslip. This was computing to about 8.5 million per year.
Elsewhere, Mau Mau veterans and their families have petitioned the government to recognize them and honor the promise they made by the British government in 2013 that they should be compensated.
Inapatikana ni kadogo kwa kula asiakula tuli au wale vizuri, na sasa wanasema masaa kwa hakuna njaa mwala yote.
Finally, in Githurai, pregnant women have received gifts from the Focus Hospital.
Tumeamua kuita wamama ambao wanatarajia kupata watoto ili siku ya Valentine ikamilike vizuri.
Let's look at the business news, where the awaited Kenyan-made mobile phone will cost 5,000 shillings. The government says the construction of the assembling facility is at an advanced stage, with the launch expected to happen in the second half of this year. Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary, that is Ali Dowalo, has said the low-priced phone will help deepen access to electronic government services and expand the number of smartphone devices in the country. Plans to have a Kenyan-made smartphone were floated 10 years ago, but lack of funds delayed the project.
Being home of the pioneer mobile money technology, Kenya is often regarded as a hotbed of innovation in Africa, thrusting the country on the global innovation hub. To cement this position, Kenya last year launched a 10-year detailed master plan that prioritizes investment in digital infrastructure, data management, digital upscaling, innovation, and policy and legal framework.
We've had several engagements in the last few weeks with the private sector. First, on the digital superhighway, we've had discussions with all the players who are involved in building the infrastructure and see how we can bring synergy in that sector.
We then also need to empower both the people working in government, but also our citizens to be able to access these services.
Speaking during the launch of the 12th Connected Summit, Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary said plans are at an advanced stage to start the assembly of a Kenyan-made mobile phone to enhance digital access. This year's father called on the private sector to invest in the development of 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic infrastructure to support efforts towards the realization of the digital economy.
It is advisable that as government we will only undertake 52% of that. The remaining 48% has to be rolled out by the private sector.
Speaking during this year's Connected Kenya Investor Summit, Owalo said the government plans to move all public services and payments to the digital platform by June this year. The theme for this year's summit is Endless Opportunities Shaping the Future, for more synergy between the government and the private sector to support the digital economy.
And based on feasibility studies that have been undertaken, we envisage that we should be able to have locally produced smart-enabled telephones at a cost of about $40 per unit.
It is hoped that this year's Connected Summit will have outcomes that will define how ICT will continue to enable Kenya realize the objectives of the government's digital transformation agenda in line with Vision 2030, as well as the Kenya National Digital Master Plan.
Ahead of the Connect Summit 2023 that is scheduled for April, one thing is clear. For Kenya to fully realize a digital economy, government cannot do it alone. It requires investment from the private sector. I'm Regina Manyara reporting for Kenya Broadcasting Corporation.
Thank you, Regina, for that report. Now, plans are underway to assist 400 beach management units transition into cooperatives to enhance regulated fishing. Already Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs Cabinet Secretary Salim Vuria says 60 beach management units will, in the next 2 weeks, be converted to cooperatives in a move that will secure them funding to invest in modern fishing equipment.
Beach management units were established in Kenya to ensure sustainable utilization and management of the fisheries resource. They are being transitioned to cooperatives to formalize them for assistance from both the government and the private sector.
We want the fishermen to have modern boats and modern fishing gear. And it is through that cooperative model that they can be able to work with banks. It is through that cooperative model that they can also determine the price so that then they can guard against exploitation.
Mvuria says the government is stepping up efforts to reduce illegal fishing, especially in the Indian Ocean. The Lamu governor identified storage and marketing as the key challenges faced by fishermen across the country.
Governments, both national and county, is to facilitate our fishermen. They are not well facilitated.
A look at sports now, where Homeboys RFC player, that is Branson Madigo, will play for the National Rugby Sevens team, Shujaa, for the first time in the next 2 weeks' legs of the HSBC Sevens World Series in Los Angeles and Vancouver. Madigo was the only new name included in the 13-man Kenyan squad. Shujaa will head for the next 2 legs, starting with Los Angeles on the 25th and 26th of this month, before traveling to Vancouver on the 3rd and the 5th to the 5th of March. The Kenyan team will be hoping for a better outing this time round after collecting 21 points in the first 5 legs of the season. New Zealand remains in total control of the standings heading into the 6th leg with 85 points, 9 points above second place South Africa. Hong Kong are bottom with just a single point. Now, Zimbabwean visitor Mapanya fired a round of 3 under par 68 to claim the season-ending leg of the Safari Tour Golf Series on 3 under 281 at the Muthaiga Golf Club. Mapanya and a slot at the next month's Magical Kenya Open.
Good round today. Got back into contention now, leading by 1 going into the next last round tomorrow. Just positives from today. I mean, I think I hit the ball very well. Good iron play this week so far. Just got to keep going for the next couple of days. Really looking forward to tomorrow. Hopefully get the job done.
Some of Kenya's athletes have embarked on a mission to raise funds to support heart care for children who cannot afford the cost for surgery. Led by James Mwaura, the athletes are running from Kisumu to Mombasa, a journey of about 920 kilometers to raise 10 million shillings for children heart surgery in the country.
A group of athletes is on a mission to raise funds to assist children from humble backgrounds who are in dire need of heart surgery. James Mwaura is one athlete running from Kisumu to Mombasa to try and raise over 10 million shillings to cater for open surgery for children from humble backgrounds.
The journey from Kisumu to this place actually has been, with lots of challenges, lots of experiences, good ones and bad ones. But the main thing is that we thank God because we've been able to create the awareness and we've been able to connect with people who care for these kids.
The athletes are running under the Care for a Child's Heart Foundation, which is reaching out to needy families and offering medical support to children ailing from heart diseases.
This year we seek to do 100 surgeries, and we believe with your support we'll be able to reach this target. Each surgery goes for about between $1 million bob and 1.5 million Kenya shillings, and we believe with your support we'll be able to reach this target. Last year we did 43 surgeries, and we're hoping to up our numbers and assist more kids. We have over 300 children on our waiting list, and with your support we believe we'll be able to help these kids and save these hearts, each heart at a time.
The foundation has sponsored over 260 surgeries locally and abroad and offered support to over 600 families.
Well, and just to put a cap on the sports news, a look at yesterday's Champions League results. And that is Dortmund beat Chelsea 1-0. Club Brugge was beaten by Benfica at 2-0. And English Premier League results, Manchester City thrashed Arsenal 3-1. And both Manchester City and Arsenal have 51 points, and City tops the table with goal differences. Arsenal have a game at hand. Now, I'd look at today's Europe matches. The awaited matches is between Barcelona and Manchester United. The match will be played at Camp Nou Stadium in Barcelona. Other teams playing today are Ajax and Union Berlin. Barcelona meets Man United. Salzburg meets Roma, while Leverkusen will be facing Monaco. That and more in today's Europa matches. So on that note, I want to bring the news to an end this morning. Thank you so much for staying tuned, but we still have much more lined up for you. Remember, we still have the newspaper reviews for you, and today is Entertainment Thursday, so you want to stay tuned. We'll take a short break, but we'll be back with more.
Vijana chapakazi wenye nguvu za ziada.
My youth, uko na talent ya kusing, spoken word, kucompose jingles ama any other unexploited artistic talent. Gava through Ministry of Information, Communication and the Digital Economy na KBC sasa wame come up na project ya kupromote usanii called Studio Mashinani. Hizi ni studios ziko grassroots and they are fitted with high quality state-of-the-art equipment where you can produce quality audio and video music content for free. What's more, wanaoffer mentorship na talanta yako itakuwa promoted on KBC Channel 1 TV, Y254 na radio stations za KBC. Tembelea Studio Mashinani huko Comarox, Langata, Sauti House Mombasa, Kirwara huko Gatanga, Kitui next to Manyanyoni Chiefs Camp na Kisumu City wako hapo KBC Station. Usilalie talent. This is your chance to commercialize and popularize your talent through Studio Mashinani.
Do you know how much I sacrificed to take care of your Harvey? I stayed overnight at his home.
Liam is indeed our guest here, but that girl is not his sister. Our hotel is responsible for our guests' privacy. You know that.
So you were following him? Vivian, Oh, my little Snow. I remember that we talked about this before.
Now with this bracelet, we have a link between our past and present.
It stopped. I don't like the rain. Every time it rains, my hair looks like it's exploded.
It's like when you water a flower and it blossoms.
Flowers are pretty, but when my hair gets like this, it's ugly.
After the conclusion of an impressive Athletics Kenya Cross-Country Championships, Team Kenya now sets her sight on the 44th edition of the Global Showpiece, the World Athletics Cross-Country Championships Bathurst 23 in Australia. Lined up for the titles is Kenya's contingent of 30 world beaters, ready to contest with more than 550 athletes from over 60 nations. Enjoy these spectacular races from Bathurst, Australia on Saturday, 18 February 2023, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Mimi
Keta ndo ndake na kawata.
Kidondo ndiki nyo kawata.
Na hapa ya kwamba. Maneno takosema mbele igoti.
Maneno takosema mbele igoti.
Wewe
mzee. Ni bila ananipeleka.
My mighty boyfriend, Alphonse Makacha.Makoha. AKA wewe kamwale. Atunasema nini? Amesema nini huyu?
Wewe.
Lakini
nakuuliza swali ni jibu acha kuniuliza maswali. Hii unaona kama ni choo?
Madam.
Hey babe, tena mimi ni mad.
When did I come your husband or your boyfriend?
Aki babe, si ulikuja siku ya birthday yangu kaniletea gift tena
nini? Who are you pepping?
Ako kamusi sana ningeenda nikasmoke out na nikatoa Ako kamusi.
Sasa wewe na huyo msichana tofauti iko wapi? Mimi ni wa halali.
Kwa nini unakuja kueleza mambo ya urongo na hili hali mimi niko na pipi, si girlfriend, niko na pipi. Nifungwe, nitoe pesa mingi, hata waya yangu iende chini mheshimiwa.
Sasa
yeye ainuke mheshimiwa.
Underwear hii suruali ya ndani.
Hii ya kuuza mbao, chuma, mifereji, ndio hiyo.
Inaitwa underwear.
Inaitwa
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya, and on ITH we are starting with the Star, the main headline being Raila troops reject Ruto law change bid. More on that is opposition MPs have vehemently rejected President William Ruto's push to amend the constitution despite the goodies the law change proposes for their leaders Raila Odinga and Martha Karua. The Azimio Brigade, who spoke in Parliament, were emphatic that the President cannot initiate amendments to the Constitution through popular initiative. Moving on to business news, still on the Star. Good news for I&M bankers. I&M Bank has stopped levying bank-to-mobile wallet transfer fees barely 2 months after its reintroduction. The waiver that took effect on Wednesday makes the lender the first in Kenya to officially revert back to zero fees for bank to M-Pesa and Airtel Money transactions. More on that is, according to I&M's General Manager for Digital Business, Michael Mwangi, the move is aimed at offering new and existing customers a relief during these tough economic times. So I hope more banks will follow suit. On to county news. More than 6,000 students from Kigumo constituency have benefited from a 25 million shilling bursary scheme. Students in day schools will each get 4,000 shillings, while those in day and boarding secondary schools will receive 4,500 shillings, and those in boarding schools will get 5,000 shillings. Last but not least on the Star, let's conclude with sports news. The Cabinet Secretary for Sport, Ababu Namwamba, wants those in charge of sports to find innovative ways to propel the county to new heights. The CS spoke at a function, held in Nairobi Hotel, on Wednesday, to unveil committees established to promote sports development within the country. Namwamba reaffirmed the government's desire to identify and develop talent as the grassroots level through the nationwide bottom-up football tournament, which will include teams from all 47 counties. That was just a quick look at the Star. We'll come back to this later on after we take a look at the Daily Nation with Doreen.
How Israeli hackers meddled in elections, that is what the Daily Nation is holding for you. Still, the push and pull for electoral justice is just what this particular article is covering for you. The story has been tucked away from page 2 all through 4 of the Daily Nation, and this just going by what the byline has for you. A group of Israeli disinformation contractors hacked into email and the social media account of senior election officials. Who these elections officials are, you ask? Page 2 to 4 of the Daily Nation has that for you. And also, President William Ruto's close allies just days before the 2022 polls. An investigative report has revealed the same. However, both the Kenya Kwanza faction as well as the Azimio One claim that they are not the ones who did hire these foreigners during the election season. So these are the Israeli hackers. Then if they didn't, any of the faction denying that, who did? Police raid Matiang'i's city home amid row of a search warrant, where the police said that they did obtain that search warrant that gave them access to the former Interior Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Fred Matiang'i there. And this is after that particular incident that happened last week on Wednesday. And so what they're trying, or what they were trying to ascertain, is whether that was false or indeed there was any truth to it. And so just looking at what some sections of Azimio leaders are saying is that this was sort of like breach of his he's right, and you also remember that last week on Thursday, he did obtain that anticipatory bail that is supposed to sort of like cover him from any kind of arrest unless there's a warrant for that. But before we just get further to what the Daily Nation has for you, Marie.
Yes, Doreen, more or less the same headlines in the Standard newspaper revealed how Israeli hackers hit Ruto's team. Israeli hackers accessed email and private chats of two of President Ruto's advisors before and after last August presidential election, posing as the aides and sending texts to unsuspecting targets as part of an intelligence gathering and disinformation campaign. That story continues on page 4. That is, the aides are Itumbi and Churchill were hacked by Israelis run up to the August polls. And the investigation, which involved more than 100 journalists from 30 media organizations, showed a hacker accessing Gmail and Telegram accounts belonging to Energy Cabinet Secretary, that is Davis Churchill, and key Ruto strategist, that is Dennis Itumbi. The hacker in question has been identified as Tal Hanan, a 50-year-old former Israeli Special Forces operative who now works privately using the pseudonym Jorge. And leads a group of contractors. While reports by media organizations involved in the investigation revealed that Hanan offered 3 undercover journalists a demo as he hacked into the Telegram accounts of Churchill and Itumbi in July 2022, reading their personal chats and files, including a polling survey related to the presidential election. Well, how much does he charge for his services? It's quoted here. That's about 15 million euros. That is about more than 2 billion Kenya shillings. It was, however, not known who hired Hanan and the team, as his team of contractors also include his brother, that is Zohar Hanan. So that story there in the Standard newspaper. In a demonstration on August the 9th, Itumbi's Telegram, the Israeli national revealed to undercover journalists a link to an internal website of the UDA that the UDA used to monitor the results of the presidential election. So that's the story there in the Standard newspaper. Now, judge goes to Supreme Court to fight decision to sack him, and that is Said Chitembwe. The tribunal found that Chitembwe was unfit to hold office, and Justice Chitembwe, through his lawyer, that is Peter Wena, filed the notice of appeal at the Apex Courts in a move that signals his intention not to go down without a fight. Now, Article 168 Cap 8 of the Constitution provides that a judge who is aggrieved by the decision of the tribunal may appeal to the Supreme Court within 10 days after this tribunal make its recommendations. Now, the tribunal did unanimously agree that all 6 charges of misconduct leveled against the judge had been proved. So, yeah, and the charges, the tribunal was investigating 3 cases where Justice Chitembwe was accused of impropriety and in handling succession dispute while serving as the Malindi High Court, and in an impeachment case against former governor, that is Mike Sonko. And, well, there's a purge going on in the Azimio faction, and Senator Fatuma Dulo, could I say, is the first one to face the axe after, she was removed as the Senate Minority Whip as a result of the purge by Azimio La Umoja One Kenya. And Azimio leader Raila Odinga said Dulo was removed following parliamentary group meeting with senators, and so her place has been taken by Narok Senator, that is Ledama Olekina, who will be deputized by Nairobi Senator, that is Edwin Sifuna. Dulo's fate comes just a week after she and other Jubilee lawmakers did meet the president and pledged to work with his government. And last week, Raila termed the leaders who met the president as traitors and told them to resign. So that story there. Now, the other story that we've also has been making headlines is about police breaking into ex-CS Matiang'i's current home. So Matiang'i's whereabouts remain unknown, but his lawyer, that is Danson Amari, says that he is safe wherever he is. Police officers last evening broke into the former internal security CS, that is Fred Matiang'i, on grounds that they had an order to obtain CCTV recordings in an alleged raid in the home last week. Matiang'i's whereabouts, like I said, his lawyer Danson Amari is saying that his client is safe. And the raid came after Nairobi court rejected a request by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations to order a private security firm to supply it with the CCTV footage from the home of the interior CS. So when this happened the first time, Matiang'i did seek anticipatory bail following reports that the government was planning to arrest him. So that is according to his sources. Another story that highlighted here is birth registration to go digital starting March the 1st. That is a story that we brought to you during the news coverage. And Director General of E-Citizen Services says Kenya will be among the first African countries to digitize all services. He said that the UPI is officially implemented. If officially implemented, that is, the census exercise may be discontinued. So that's the story in the Standard newspaper. Then a lawyer wants members of parliament to enact a law on land size. Essentially, how much land can an individual really own? So that is the story here. He wants parliament to enact a law limiting how much land a person can own. Says it should have been passed within 18 months after promulgation of the constitution. So that is also a story in the Standard. Kenyans divided on CBC's system, according to a report. So you can grab a copy of the Standard newspaper and just get to read that story for yourself there. So more or less, those are some of the top stories being covered in the Standard newspaper. And ambitious, Namwambo finally rolls out the Talanta Hela initiative. This is a story that has been making headlines where they just want to nurture talents in sports and creative arts in the sports and culture sector. So with that, I want to hand it over to Mike to continue with the Good Morning Kenya together with Doreen. I take a break here, but we'll be able to see you again in the coming week. So thank you so much for taking the time to start your day with us here on Good Morning Kenya. We still have a lot in terms of news, so you can also tune in later on in our subsequent bulletins to get updated on what will be making headlines in the country and abroad. So thank you so much. I hand it over to Mike right now to continue with the Good Morning Kenya. See you again, God willing.
Thank you very much, Marie. And of course, just before we head on back to the Daily Nation, there's a story that's very interesting here. Still on County News on the Star. Brilliant girl, 16, turns to quarry to raise school fees. She scored 405 marks in her KCPE. And now the 16-year-old girl who scored 405 marks in Magarini sub-county of Kilifi County has turned to crushing stones to raise her fees and assist her family to put food on the table. That's a very inspiring story. I encourage you to go and read on the Star. Back to the Daily Nation with Doreen.
You just did say carried what, a chicken to pay?
Those are actually two different stories. There's a girl who went to get admitted with only one hen. You can imagine, it's very inspiring. These are people who understand their own brilliance, and they're like, I won't let anything get in my way.
I'm not so sure if that is inspiring. I mean, this just brings out the disparity in our education system, and we have over time said in this country that education is the greatest equalizer. But when Class A did finish their exams, awaiting to go to Form 1, so as a grade 6 awaiting to go to grade 7. You really just did see the sharp disconnect in our education system. I'm talking about that sharp disconnect, just what brings me to the Daily Nation and that particular story that the Daily Nation also has unpacked for you, and that is regards to particularly the junior secondary school. So what is coming out is that parents are now calling for crisis talk over the JSS. There has been a lot of concerns as far as junior secondary school is concerned. Remember from when we had what uniforms they are going to wear, if it's going to be different from what Class 8 are going to be wearing, given the fact that they are going to be in the same school setup. This is after it was moved from having it in the secondary school, as the previous regime had actually talked about, and domiciling it in primary schools, and now we had them staying in the primary schools as grade 7 learners. But then the biggest question had been the teacher issue. You did remember the ministry talked about recruitment of 30,000 teachers, which did happen. But again, the other issue was training of these teachers. And also, as we speak, since JSS opened on 30th of January, there are still concerns about teachers having reported to these schools. We are also talking about 14 subjects. This is what these learners are said to be learning. And what the ministry had talked about is one teacher for every of these classes. So again, the underlying issue was, how does one teacher teach 14 subjects? This is about 3 weeks since they did open. And as we speak, some schools, it's only learners and no teachers. What is also coming out is parents are now transferring or taking their children from the grade 7, bribing some teachers to take their children for class 8. So then now they move to the 844 system. The CSS that has said that they're probing into this matter and they're launching investigation therein. So just going by what is captured in the Daily Nation, this is why there's really a big concern as far as junior secondary school is concerned. Various stakeholders, parents alike, just asking for the ministry to see how best they're going to be holding crisis talks to chart the way forward as far as junior secondary school is concerned, because who's on the losing end? It is the learners. Away from that education bits to some bits of politics there, where just as rightfully put there, what the standard has captured for you, what made headways in our news bulletin this morning as far as the purge in Azimio is concerned. And this is after we saw this 30 Jubilee members of parliament who did visit the president or were at State House. That was late last week. Of course, Dulo becomes the first one to undergo that purge. And also, as we speak, there are mulling of removing Sabina Chege, who is a nominated member of parliament, and also there's Professor Margaret Kamar, who was nominated under the KANU party. And remember, Sabina Chege, aside from just being a nominated MP, she equally holds that position of the deputy minority whip that is in National Assembly. So they're also thinking about removing her from that particular position. And lastly, to some health matters now, before we get to close this segment. NHIF set to cover medical conditions. This is what the president did reveal yesterday. Not just specific set of medical conditions, but going by what he did say is that this is going to be covering all medical conditions. And this is what he says they are part of the new reforms that then were announced by the head of state. Just saying a bit of what is captured there is that NHIF will be strategic purchaser of healthcare services, and he said that my team, that is the president, is working with the Ministry of Health to ensure that they have essential package for every condition and every item that we need in that space. You've had over time there have been concerns, particularly about the insurance cover, just covering certain types of conditions, leaving aside others. When you look at conditions such as cancer or really, really expensive and communicable diseases that would oftentimes render families in Kenya too. Some sell their land, some really, having to just dig so much deeper into their pockets to just treat these conditions. But going by what the president said, if at all this is to take effect, then we're looking at all conditions to be covered by NHIF. Also, this coming at a time where we're talking about increase in contributions as far as NHIF is concerned, where the talk was having those earning 100,000 and above increase in their contributions, just to see how best this particular cover is going to be covering holistic all types of conditions. Good place to end this segment, Mike, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That was ITH, where we get to look at the headlines on our daily newspapers. Thank you so much for joining us. And after this short break, we're going to be having Entertainment Thursday. We'll be back after this.
Enjoy a selection of the best. Regina Ray and Tingazi.
Bado hujamwambia unamlike. Umerealize hajamwachilia mkono kutoka nikuje hapa.
Love blossoms in Mexico with the Trier sisters in Las Bandidas.
I beg you, please don't go.
I want you to be the happiest man in the world with a woman who appreciates and respects you.
An array of music rave.
Make me lie when I don't want to.
Blues.
You are my everything.
Two local gems. And we sit to chat with the Diambo.
You know, I can't even tell whether you're looking at me, seeing me.
With the Louis Vuitton.
Classic comedy.
Makono too.
Say that again.
Enjoy the Divas programming this February only on KBC Channel 1. Kenya's watching.
Vijana chapakazi wenye nguvu za ziada.
My youth, uko na talent ya kusing, spoken word, kucompose jingles ama any other unexploited artistic talent. Gava through Ministry of Information, Communication and the Digital Economy na KBC sasa wame come up na project ya kupromote usanii called Studio Mashinani. Hizi ni studios ziko grassroots and they are fitted with high quality state-of-the-art equipment where you can produce quality audio and video music content for free. What's more, wanaoffer mentorship na talanta yako itakuwa promoted on KBC Channel 1 TV, Y254 na radio stations za KBC. Tembelea Studio Mashinani huko Comarox, Langata, Sauti House Mombasa, Kirwara huko Gatanga, Kitui next to Manyanyoni Chiefs Camp na Kisumu City wako hapo KBC Station. Usilalie talent. This is your chance to commercialize and popularize your talent through Studio Mashinani.
Mataifa yote yametambua wewe ni mfalme. Sisi wana wako tunajua wewe ni mfalme. Maserafi na makerubi wanaimba wewe ni mfalme. Wanasema wewe ni mfalme, mfalme wa wafalme. Yesu ni mfalme, Yesu ni mfalme, Yesu ni mfalme, Yesu ni mfalme wa Yesu, Yesu ni mfalme, Yesu ni mfalme, Yesu ni mfalme, njia mbele ya mfalme. Bahari nalo latengeneza njia mbele ya mfalme. Mapepo nayo yanatetemeka kwa jina la mfalme. Yanafahamu wewe ni mfalme, mfalme wa wafalme. Mfalme wa wafalme, yeye ni mfalme, mfalme wa wafalme. Oh, yeye ni mfalme, mfalme wa wafalme. Oh, yeye ni mfalme, mfalme wa wafalme. Yeye ametawala, mfalme wa wafalme. Yeye ni mfalme, mfalme wa wafalme. Yesu, mfalme wa wafalme. Oh, ametukuka. Yesu, anatawala. Baba, yeye ni mfalme wa wafalme.
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. Next up is the first interview with Wanjiko Nyasaka. Karibu sana. That was your video we were watching, and it happens to be your very first music video.
Yes, it is.
Let's talk about your experience in that music world after singing for such a long time. Before we get into the background of who you are, how was it? How was your first experience exposing yourself and revealing your gift to the world?
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for having me. I think my first video, I was very anxious, but I thank God for support of my family and my friends. My husband and my friends and my sisters were all there to help me in this journey, especially on the day of making this video. It was my first video. I didn't know what to expect. My video producer was also very helpful, Steve Mugo, and he helped me to calm the nerves. But I got the cue and I was able to actually do it. I couldn't believe it, but I thank God. Of course, it took a lot of prayer to help me overcome the anxiety and the nerves. Yeah, but it ended up.
But like I was telling you earlier, when I look at that music video, I see a seasoned artist. I don't see someone who's just starting. Lakini vile tumesema ukiona God, lazima ujichoche.
Yes, lazima ujichoche. Ujiamini.
So now let's talk about you and coming up in terms of gospel and the ministry. Let's talk about your upbringing. Were you surrounded by, people who were ministers? Who inspired you?
Thank you. Actually, I was inspired by my mom. My mom could sing. You would just wake up without being told to wake up, because my mom would just wake up early in the morning and start singing, and she would sing these Kigosho songs, and I thought to myself, wow, I think she can sing. She just doesn't realize that she can sing, but I grew up, of course, loving music. And of course, hearing my mom sing all over the house, I ended up actually picking that. My mom was also a born-again Christian from early age, since I was a young girl. So her trying to bring music into the house, like every time, we all found ourselves just singing. But I also think that this is something that was in us, not just me. I have other siblings also who sing. They haven't, just come out to bring out their gift and share their gift with the world. And I believe that sometime they will. But I felt that God specifically called me into singing ministry, and I started singing even before I did my videos, until I thought that these songs that God has given me and has deposited into my spirit, I need to share them out with the world. It's not a message for me, but it is a message for many other people out in the world that need to hear my songs and the message that God has given me, to encourage them and maybe to give them hope every day.
Let's talk about the process of creating your songs, especially the songwriting process, because I believe when it comes to ministry, it's something inspired. So let's talk about your process. How did you come up with the lyrics to this one, the first one?
Yeah, thank you, Mike. You won't believe it. I wrote this song more than 10 years ago. Actually, more than even before I got married. I wrote the chorus of this song, but I did not pursue it further. But I feel that God deposited that gift in me, and that those words were inspirational, but I didn't take it up until later on, during COVID. Thanks to COVID, I decided to actually, I felt that if I die today, at my deathbed, I'll be miserable, because I did not fulfill what God called me to do. And I felt like I had to let God down. So I said, I am going to just walk into a studio and just do what God asked me to do many years ago that I haven't been able to do. By that time, I had started, of course, coming up with the verses, and God just kept giving me these verses and the words to these songs. I didn't even sit at one point to write the song. By the time I was going to the studio, I had the song in my head and I could sing it from the beginning to the end. So I think God inspired me to write these words, and I wrote them out of His inspiration.
Before we continue with the second part, there's something I love to do, especially with the gospel ministers. There are people who are watching us right now, enjoying their cup of tea, their cup of porridge. And I would love if you could, bless us with a few lines from your song.
Okay. Do you want me to sing from Palme, the first song? Or
the very first song. I had a connection with that one.
The first song,
yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yesu ni mfalme, Yesu ni mfalme, Yesu ni mfalme, Yesu ni mfalme wa wafalme, Yesu ni mfalme, Yesu ni mfalme, Yesu ni mfalme, Yesu ni mfalme wa wafalme. Njoni nyote tumwimbie huyu mfalme. Njoni nyote tumwabudu huyu mfalme. Njoni nyote tumwimbie huyu mfalme. Njoni nyote tumsujudu huyu mfalme. Yeye ni mfalme, mfalme wa wafalme. Oh, yeye ni mfalme, mfalme wa wafalme. Yeye ni mfalme, mfalme wa wafalme. Yeye ametawala. Huyu Yesu ametukuka. Yesu yeye ni mfalme wa wafalme.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that blessing. If you want more of that, you know what to do. Wanjikonya Saka is the name of the YouTube channel.
Yes, it is.
Make sure you go there, subscribe, and support her music. The gospel music industry, We've seen it's come across some controversy lately. There are people who are pointing fingers here and there. Did you have any, I won't call it fear, let me call it hesitation. Did you have any hesitation to say, okay, now let me just join in?
I believe that when God calls you, God calls you individually. He calls you as a person. And I believe that those other gospel ministers have been called by God. Maybe sometime, maybe on our way we lose it a bit, but we are all human. And I believe that with time, even those ones that have lost their way will always come back. But I believe that they have a specific calling. And I joined even in the midst of the storm, and because I know that God had deposited a message in me. Without looking at the others, I was concentrating on my race, what God has called me to do. And I believe that the music ministry is not dead. And like somebody said, I don't call it the gospel industry. I call it the gospel ministry. Yeah, because you're ministering through song. We have evangelists and we have preachers who are spreading the word of God through evangelism and teaching. But we are also ministers because God has called us to spread the word of God through singing. So I consider myself a minister because that is the way I fulfilled the Great Commission, where we are all called to be disciples and to make disciples.
Let me ask you this then. Do you feel like there's a divide in the gospel ministry? Do you feel like there are others who consider themselves artists and not ministers?
I think it is the way you bring yourself out there. And if I call myself an artist, then they understand what they mean by artist. I cannot define that for them. But there are also those ones who call themselves gospel minister. I can speak to that, but I am not sure I can speak to being a gospel artist because I'm not one. Yes, I am speaking as a gospel minister, so I can speak to gospel ministry, but I'm not able to speak about being a gospel artist because I am not one.
Now, in terms of the ministry, let's talk in terms of money now.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy, but sometimes when it comes to gospel, people tell you it is a ministry, so they don't even give you like a token for fuel, and you arrived at the venue, you know, you prepared yourself for the event, maybe perhaps you brought in instrumentalists. What do you have to say about that particular?
I believe in my journey, for example, I speak for myself. I mean, my music hasn't paid. And I'm aware that it may not pay for another even maybe months or years to come. But because God has called me, I have come with the understanding that He will provide for everything that I need. I don't know how, but somehow He has. And it's not cheap to do music because, I mean, just doing a video is costly enough, especially if you're going to do a good production. So I believe that I would urge that the churches and you know, these forums where the ministers go to minister, that it's upon them, you know, to be able to be I mean, even the Bible talks about being hospitable. Let's be hospitable to these people so that they can spread the gospel, and let them also eat from the gospel, because that is what, you know, you want to spread the gospel, but at the same time you want to have food on the table. But I would say that for me, that is not the driving factor. I want to be able to do what God has called me. I want to be able to minister, and I believe that all these other things, God shall sort them out for me. My next song actually talks about seeking God and His righteousness, and all these other things shall be added to you. So I believe that God will add all those things to us as ministers if we have the right intentions to serve God. There's no way God is going to give you a responsibility and not give you the ability to do it. So we just need to stick to what God has called us to do. The rest, God is going to take care of us. Whether He's going to put a conviction to those people that we go to minister to be able to be a blessing to you, I believe it will happen. We've seen many ministers do it, and they have made it, and they are not there, you know, doing all these things to just to get money. They are doing it for the gospel, and there are so many of them that are doing it. Right now we are concentrating on the ones that are not doing the right thing, or we feel that are not doing the right thing, but we've forgotten that there are so many gospel ministers that are doing what God has called them to do.
What God has called them to do.
Yes.
Before we exit, I know who is your pastor, by the way?
Oh, my pastor is Bishop Gibson Andubate of ICC Nairobi International Christian.
What role did he play when it comes to your music?
He's very encouraging. Actually, for some time I've not been on the worship team, and he's like, I think I need to see you on the pulpit. I mean, that is what God has called you to do. I mean, why don't you do it? But for some time I haven't been in the worship team because of COVID, and before that school, and after that baby. But he's really been encouraging me. Just a few Sundays back, he told me, I really want to see you on the pulpit.
Aside from Bishop, do you feel like there's another person mwenye amekusaidia sana in terms of encouraging you to do music?
Yes, there are many people who have encouraged me.
Now, those particular people, I want you to talk to them.
Okay. So I want to say thank you so much. First of all, to my husband, Mr. Nyasaka, who has given me the drive. Sometimes I'm like, I don't think I'm called for this, and he's there just trying to push me and telling me, you can do it, because there's so many things that I'm doing right now. I am a wife, I am a music minister, I am also employed, all those things, and he's been there trying to get me. I also have a group of friends who are very encouraging, and they keep telling me, go mama, and thank you so much for the push and that they keep giving me when I feel like giving up. I also have a friend of mine who is also a gospel minister. She's called Caroline Bright. You will love her songs, by the way. Oh, she held my hand. I mean, I had this song, I didn't know how to start, and she held my hand and she said, girl, you can do it. This is what you do. This is what you do. So she showed me around the gospel space, and out of that I was able to come up with my first video, and now my second video, now going into the third video. So I want to say thank you so much to Caroline Bright.
And we also want to say thank you to you, because your story is very encouraging. Like you said, you've always had the gift within you, but eventually you took this opportunity to now begin your journey within the gospel music ministry.
Yes.
So thank you very much. And as KBC, let's say thank you for coming through. And remind people where they can find you, which is Wanjiko Nyasaka. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Next up is a song by Wanjiko Nyasaka. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you, Kevin, for having me.
Wanalisifu jina lako, wamejua siri ya kusifu. Basi mimi ni nani nisikuimbie? Oh, kwani mimi ni nani nisikuimbie? Nitakuabudu, nikusifu, wastahili sifa zote. Nitakuabudu, nikusifu, wastahili sifa zote. Njema, 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 Bwana atatenda, tenda mema. Ni siku njema yenye mema, Bwana amefanya, fanya tufurahia. Ni siku njema, 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 Bwana atatenda, tenda mema. kushangilia na kuifurahia. Twaenenda kwa furaha, twaongozwa kwa amani, hatuna hofu. Jikwa fike salama, amekupea Roho wake Mtakatifu akuongoze milele. Siku njema, yeye mema, Bwana amefanya, tufurahia. Siku njema, Bwana atatenda mema. Siku njema, yeye mema, Bwana amefanya.
Vijana chapakazi wenye nguvu za ziada.
My youth, uko na talent ya kusing, spoken word, kucompose jingles ama any other unexploited artistic talent. Gava through Ministry of Information, Communication and the Digital Economy na KBC sasa wamekama up na project ya kupromote usanii called Studio Mashinani. Hizi ni studios ziko grassroots and they are fitted with high quality state-of-the-art equipment where you can produce quality audio and video music content for free. What's more, wanaoffer mentorship na talanta yako itakuwa promoted on KBC Channel 1 TV, Y254 na radio stations za KBC. Tembelea Studio Mashinani huko Comarox, Langata, Sauti House Mombasa, Kirwara huko Gatanga, Kitui next to Manyanyoni Chiefs Camp na Kisumu City wako hapo KBC Station. Usilalie talent. This is your chance to commercialize and popularize your talent through Studio Mashinani.
Do you know how much I sacrificed to take care of your Harvey? I stayed overnight at his home.
Liam Lin is indeed our guest here, but that girl is not his sister. Our hotel is responsible for our guests' privacy. You know that.
So you were following him?
Vivian,
Oh, my little Snow. I remember that we talked about this before.
Now with this bracelet, we have a link between our past and present.
It stopped. I don't like the rain. Every time it rains, my hair looks like it's exploded.
it's like when you water a flower and it blossoms.
Flowers are pretty, but when my hair gets like this, it's ugly.
Hey, listen up. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Engine.
How do we hear? How do we see? What makes up the air we breathe? Let's go! Let's go! It's technology. Let's go! Let's grow! Science, you and me. Let's go! We're learning every day. Let's go! Let's grow!
Let's ask, let's learn, and let's love. And don't forget to make it fun.
Mimi keta ndo ndeke na makwata.
Kido ndo ndeke nyoka kwata.
Na hapa ya kwamba. Maneta kwa sema mbele igoti.
Maneta kwa sema mbele igoti.
Wewe mzee.
Ni bila ananipeleka.
My mighty boyfriend, Alphonse Makacha.Makoha. AKA
Wewe kamwale, atunasema nini? Amesema nini huyu?
Wewe.
Lakini nikuuliza
nakuuliza swali ni jibu cha kuniuliza maswali. Hii unaona kama ni choo?
Madam.
Hey babe, tena mimi man.
When did I come your husband or your boyfriend?
Aki babe, so ulikuja siku ya birthday yangu kaniletea gift. Tena
who are you pepping?
Ako kamusi sana ningeenda nikasmoke out na nikatoa Ako kamusi.
Sasa wewe na huyo msichana tofauti iko wapi?
Mimi ni wa halali.
Kwa nini unakuja kueleza mambo ya urongo na hili hali mimi niko na pipi, si girlfriend, niko na pipi. Nifungwe, nitoe pesa mingi, hata waya yangu iende chini mheshimiwa.
Sasa
yeye ainuke mheshimiwa.
Underwear hii suruali ya ndani.
Hii ya kuuza mbao, chuma, mifereji, ndio hiyo.
Inaitwa underwear.
Inaitwangwa?
tu tension. Mdeshe mechelewa na nakuwera na unantu nitaifanya kesho.
Kula nduku kunywa ganja ti. Sini walopiga luku piga wanja pi. Mambanga umemada vijana wangapi. Atia wana ID wengine na bangi. Washa dig vibe, maisha zigzag. Sahau mashida na madigda. Kuna time tutashindwa joku keep calm. Hiyo ndo time mtajua crime jo ulipa. Tumeshinda tunakuwekea mastika mtani. Na tupea stika titugawane machwani. Koko sick of this shit, wewe ni family. Tuna avoid police, hizo ndo gani.
Adamboy hizo chama. Adamboy hizo chama. Adamboy hizo chama. Si kama you strong dit tunaungana. Adamboy hizo chama. Adamboy hizo chama. Adamboy hizo chama. Si kama you strong dit tunaungana. Cheki, kwa ground kumemana mapoli wa mblena tumewekea lawama. Same shit mna promise, same shit mna promise kila time propaganda. Na chenye mna promise, this time last time hamkufanya. Kila mse ana right takubanja tuna fuck stand up. Kuna mse anakukanya. Kila youth come forward bila hair round hii lazima tutoe hama liars. Kila youth come forward bila hair round hii lazima tutoe hama liars. Kila mse ana right takubanja tuna fuck stand up. Kuna mse anakukanya. Kila mse ana right takubanja tuna fuck stand up. Kuna mse anakukanya.
I'm so sick of these politicians. Fake promises, now my wishes. Umekam kunipima na jail. I can't balance, this insufficient. So we fight between poverty and riches. Step by step, now move my inches. Once beaten, twice shy. Aki hope on a Prado bye-bye. Once beaten, twice shy. Hawezi mess na crew next time. Wanajifanya wana tu protection. Sile my taxes wana collect. Easy road EPO wazimeku. Kivote, think twice bro, never regret. Easy chuo hawazi remake. Kivote, think twice bro, never forget.
Adamboy hizo chama. Adamboy hizo chama. Adamboy hizo chama. Si kama you strong dit tunaungana. Adamboy hizo chama. Adamboy hizo chama. Adamboy hizo chama. Si kama you strong dit tunaungana.
This a one for the nation. This a one for the next generation. This a one for the nation. This a one for the next generation. This a one for the next generation. This a one for the nation. This a one for the next generation. Mzimbi team piga runda na switch and bleed. Mimi na jitip na rizura mpish mamtush. Enter us. Umesaidia mama baba. Youths on the board. Youths out there. Youths out there. Youths out there. Youths out there. Gomzo mashetani. Youths out there. Gomzo mashetani. How often to the grace serikali. Youths out there. Gomzo mashetani. How often to the grace serikali. Youths out there. Gomzo mashetani. How often to the grace serikali. Youths out there. Gomzo mashetani. Hello.
Adamboy hizo chama. Adamboy hizo chama. Adamboy hizo chama. Si kama you strong dit tunaungana. Adamboy hizo chama. Adamboy hizo chama. Adamboy hizo chama. Si kama you strong dit tunaungana.
Together.
ya nini? Yana nitaka tena. Oh nini mie. Sirudiagi matabishi. Kacheze unakotezaga. Sipashagi makabiti. Akacheze na nikiona sura yako najionea kasheshe. Kata simu tuko site niondole kasheshe. Chonde ala ya eti. Ya eti. Ala ya eti. Sipashagi makabiti. No. Utamurudia ex wako ama bora kufa. Jimpagane ama bora kufa. Utarudi kwa ex wako ama bora kufa. Murudiane ama bora kufa. Sirudiani matabishi. Kacheze unakotezaga. Sipashagi makabiti. Akacheze na nikiona sura yako najionea kasheshe. Kata simu tuko site niondole kasheshe. Chonde ala ya eti. Ya eti. Ala ya eti. Sipashagi makabiti.
Good morning, Kenya. Next up, we're moving on from music to the theater. Our guest today is Asala Gisemba. I really hope I'm pronouncing that properly. And Robinson Mudavadi. One is an actor. Yes, please introduce yourself.
I am Gisemba Ursula. Yes. I am part of the KTA, Kenya Theatre Awards Secretariat. So what we do is we give people a platform, all theatre artists a platform where they can finally compete against each other. And then also besides that, it helps us to collect data about what's going on in the theatre industry. Yeah.
And of course, Robinson?
Yes, I am Robinson Mudavadi, an actor, currently working with Miller's Productions Kenya in the theatres.
And today we want to talk about, of course, the Kenya Theatre Awards. And before we continue, because this is the second installment,
yes,
let's talk about what initiated the creation of the Kenya Theatre Awards.
It was just a dream that we had, because the question was, we are all theatre artists, but are we competing? You know, like when you go abroad, they have the Tony Awards, and there you can see the best of the best, and people are asking themselves like hard questions about theatre, and that way you start seeing that people are actually not just producing shows, but they're actually saying, so what makes my show better? And the jury, our jury, because they go around watching all of these shows, they can also even give these people feedback. They can say, oh well, the script was great, but then maybe we need to improve on the acting. Or they can also talk to directors, how do we stimulate this industry so that people are not just making shows, and that's it, and that's the end of it. Yeah.
Robinson, let me ask you this. When you heard this is going to be, you know, a thing that you're going to have to be competing to get a slot in the Kenya Theatre Awards, were you anxious? Were you excited to finally get, you know, that recognition after competing with other, you know, because I believe it's categories male actors, female actors.
Yeah.
So Robinson, you would be competing with other male actors.
Yes.
So were you excited about it, or were you fearful?
I was very excited. Mixed reactions, because this is it's a big thing. Yeah, it's a really big thing. So, like, I was just given a call and told, you guys, you've been nominated as the best performance by a male actor in a supporting role. I was like, where? You're joking. And Nikangaleo category, the guys who I'm nominated with, hey, yeah, very strong guys. So, yeah, nikasikia poa sana. So, I just felt like I fit in that space because I've been there.
Let me ask you, Ursula, in terms of now the people who go to judge.
Yes.
Who's involved in the judging process?
So we have...
What is the criteria?
The criteria is, so first of all, they have to be people who love theatre. That should be a basis, because you can't watch all of these shows year round if you actually don't love theatre. And then once we pass that, now we have different representatives from different places. The first place is we have a government representative, we have representatives from media, we have representatives from academics, and then we have theatre practitioners. So you'd find, let's say, within our 5-person jury currently, we have 2 of our jury members who actually do feel, let's say, 2 of those things. They're both practitioners and also academics. So, and all of them together, it's how they can sit and actually deliberate who is the best suited to be nominated. Yeah.
There's something I've always... Okay, I'm a fan of theatre.
Okay.
And I can imagine, especially for you, Robinson, let's say you enter a room and there are people who are talking about, you know, there's this new play coming in. There's the monologue part. Do they do that in terms of, you know, let's say if a judge just meets a random actor somewhere, they say, okay, act.
No.
Have you ever been in such a situation?
Well, basically, what I can say is that it depends, because it's not basically, they don't look at just the monologue part. Because there is, in acting we say there is no big role and there is no small role. All roles are the same. So you can be there, not having lines, but the way you're acting, yeah, shows something interesting. So they look at all aspects, like not just monologues. They just look at all aspects in acting. Yeah.
Such as Ursula?
Okay, so for example, Robinson was nominated as a supporting cast. So you'd say they looked at the whole piece, and within the same play, there was definitely other supporting roles. So it's, as an actor, are you able to portray the script as effectively as possible? Are your lines audible? Are you relating to your environment in a good way, not just even the actors, because the set is also a very key part. So that's why you see we have about 32 categories, all for different things. So it's not even just about the showy things, you know, the actors we know, this is a celebrity and that's it. It's also about the lighting design, the set design, who did the music design, who did the sound design, all of that.
And how everything comes together.
Exactly.
I would imagine play acting is different from TV acting, let's say. So how so? Is it more, you know, Like, okay, this is what when I picture theatrical acting, I picture that Shakespearean thing, you're holding the skull,
yes,
professing your love to something or someone. So is it overly dramatic? And how do you cope with that? And have you ever been in a situation where you had to downplay your theatrical acting for TV or vice versa?
Basically what I can say is theater is the mother of film. So theater is where you'll get that confidence because you are standing in front of a live audience. So if you make mistakes, it is for you to correct mistakes and know how to move on. But in film, there is cut. Yeah, let's take that again. Like producer anakuambia nini, directors anakuambia all sort of things. So in theater is more of realistic things. What happens right there, right now. Yeah. So you face the music right there. Umeshika lines zako. You are supposed to move to this point to point A to point B. Without thinking of other things, like just straightforward.
Robinson, would you like to face the music even now?
Yeah, no problem.
Can I give you a challenge?
Yeah, give me a challenge.
We were discussing monologues earlier on. I've always wanted to be in the presence of someone doing it. I don't know if you're able to, if you can.
I'm not so good with monologues, but
perhaps. Okay, let me try to make it easier. Are you working on a particular thing right now?
In April, we're having another play, but the script iko kwa inaitwa ngaje?
Bado
jikoni bado.
Okay, then there's something, maybe it's in the back of your mind you've ever memorized and you just want to let it out for the people watching us back at home.
So,
camera number 3 is yours.
Justin, talk to me. Justin, what happened? I thought you were dead. No. Don't give me that. Don't bring your matter in this matter. I suffered. I took you to school. I wanted you to become like me. But what did you do? No. Don't give me that. Justin, don't remind me of your mother. She is dead. She's gone. But you have your friends. You can stay with your friends. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if Robinson does not win that award,
so that was part of just some lines that I did because I was nominated in that play. It's called Backstreet, written by Saumu Kombo and Emmanuel Chindia, and directed also by Saumu Kombo and Emmanuel Chindia. It was about this guy who was in the army, and he was something happened. There was news that there was an explosion and he died. So I was the father. So we were just coming from his burial, and then he surprised us. The guy showed up and he's supposed to be dead. Yeah.
Yes.
What do you have to say about that performance?
It's amazing. You can see how it's a really good interpretation, really captures the feeling. And personally, I was moved. And I wasn't even there to watch Backstreet. And now I'm very curious. When are you guys showing Backstreet again?
Honestly, that was just simply amazing. There's something about theatrical actors. Are they called theater actors or theatrical actors?
Yes, actors.
Both is okay.
Yeah, theater actors.
Actors.
Yeah, actors.
So there's something about actors that is just amazing when you capture the essence of something that was written as a script then you bring it, you give it life. It's simply amazing. That's what, I like about theater. What about you? What made you fall in love with theater?
To be honest, my journey with theater, it's more about, it's selfish. And it's about expressiveness. So what made me fall in love with it, it was the freedom to express myself. So that's how I got into it when I was very young. I felt very inspired by this space where anything I did was okay. Like looking dumb was okay, looking smart was okay, being in between was okay. There was always a space for you in theater. So for me, I just carried that throughout my life.
So is it like, okay, from what I gathered, it's like you're saying with theater there's no judgment really?
Well, there's judgment, the jury will judge your performance, but in the realest sense, it's about you coming with your truest self, and that's what makes even great performances like the one we've just seen right now. It's that honesty of the human being and then telling those stories about people.
What about you, Robinson? When did you decide this is something I want to do?
Well, I've been acting since I was a little boy back in church. So I started in church, and then in high school I was taught by my trainer Cleophas Malala. Then in college I met Xavier Jerry Nato, who taught me, and he was actually the one who gave me the platform to start acting in the National Theatre. And so it's been a journey because it has always been in me to be an actor, because ever since I was a kid, when I used to watch TV, I used to say that I can be that person. And with acting, you can be a doctor, you can be an engineer, you can be a psychologist, you can be anything in acting. So it's interesting to just be there on stage and show the world what you can do.
Reinvent yourself.
Yes.
Do you feel like acting is somehow an escape for the artists?
It's a double-edged sword, because you do have to escape reality, but in that sense that you have to actually understand and face a character, understand the script, it then takes you back into reality. It might not be directly related to yours, it might be somebody else's, but you are not per se just escaping. You're escaping to come back to it, I guess.
Let's talk again about the Kenya Theatre Awards. Let's talk about the first installment. Were there any challenges?
Yes, of course. The first one, which was held in 2022, which means they reviewed the year 2021, it was fresh out of COVID. So the people, all the companies were still getting geared up, trying to work around, how do we come back in? Are people ready for live shows? By then, we were still wearing masks. So it was a very different time. Our numbers have greatly increased from the first installment, which was about, let's say, about 100 shows, and then now we're looking at 500 shows that was seen in the previous year. So I think that was, of course, the first challenge. The second challenge, of course, is theatre needs more investment, and now that's the point where people like us come in, because we can give people numbers. We can show you Kenyans are watching this plays, people are paying for venues. These are the numbers of jobs that are created just by people going to the theatre. It's not just the theatre itself, it's vendors, people selling food, hospitality, security, all of these things. So as now, when we show people that, now they can rethink and say, oh, theatre is actually an investment, so that we can move from there and people can start bringing in more money. Yeah.
Were you involved with the first one?
Yes, I was involved, but I didn't get a chance to be nominated. But I said there's always a next time. And my colleagues were nominated. Our theatre company was nominated, but my colleagues won. Our theatre company didn't win, but this year also we are nominated. And this year also I got a chance now to be nominated, and I felt like, yes, I deserve to be there.
Which reminds me, you have a company yourself.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. The creation. Why did you feel the need of creating that company?
Well, if you look out there are so many talented young men and women, and all of them are looking to have a platform and given a chance to perform in a theater or do something about acting. So we just sat down as friends back in 2017, and our mentor, Xavier J. Renato, decided that we should create something for ourselves, so that at least in future we can have something to call ourselves. So we started Miller's Productions Kenya. We did our first play at Oshual Academy. Our Father is Naked, and we didn't get so much hatukupata pesa mzuri, and the audience walikuwa wachache sana, but we felt like this is a stepping stone, because you have to start from somewhere. So we started with Father is Naked, and right now we have done more than 10 plays, and we have increased our audience capacity, and we are heading to the right direction.
In terms of theater especially, I felt like, there's always this company and that company, or sometimes they call it troupe. Ile troupe, do you feel like it's more family oriented? Like, okay, let me give you an example. Nice Kidenji. Normally she has the usual suspects that she's in a play with. You get Robinson. Normally unaweza mpata na ule na ule na ule. Do you feel like the theater part inakuwaga like it's who you know, Ursula?
Unfortunately,
or acting in general?
Unfortunately, I can't speak for the people who cast, because now this is direction that comes from the producers of shows and different theater companies. So for example, Robinson is part of Miller's, and Miller's is a theater company. So when you go to see a Miller's show, you will always see faces from Miller's.
Exactly.
However, we have different types of companies that have now bring in very different faces coming in together. So for example, the guys who did Nairobi Performing Arts Studio, who did Gahika Deda. So they have like very different faces in that particular play versus like the faces you'll see in the next play.
Is that an outside company?
No, it's actually based in Kenya, and they do all their shows in the Kenya Cultural Center. Another company that I could think of is Aperture Africa. They do the same thing. They bring in different faces from across Nairobi, and then they have their shows there. Now the challenge becomes, who is the best actor to get casted?
That's very interesting, because I was talking to another actor, if I may say, and they were talking about chemistry within the Kenyan industry of acting. Getting chemistry with another actor is not as easy. And why is that, Robinson?
Well, it all depends. What I can say, actually, for example, like it's my first time to meet you. So we really don't have much to say to each other. But if we are given like 2 or 3 months, by that time we'll have known each other, and that chemistry will have been created. So it all depends. In theater we say it's not about you, it's about us. So that chemistry has to be there. So you just can't stay with someone, act with someone that you really don't know about them. So with time, you have to know about them. So that chemistry is very important in acting.
Now, we talked about the challenges of last year's installment of the Kenya Theatre Awards. This year, it's coming up.
This year.
Were you able to learn from past mistakes, if I may call them mistakes, or were you able to improve?
Yes, we have been able to improve, and we're still taking notes. We tell people just go to our website and actually write into us and tell us anything that you have any problem with.
For instance, let me ask you this then. As someone who wants to participate within the awards, what do I have to look out, what can I look out for?
It's a very simple process. Number one is have a company. and have a good show. And once you check that box, our jury is ready to watch you. So you go to kenyatheatreawards.com, and then in that website, you'll scroll down and you'll see somewhere written jury invitation.
Okay.
And then once you click in there, everything is pretty straightforward. How many of the jury do you want to invite? When is the show? Upload your poster, and then after that, we just stay in touch. It's very
So it's mostly companies such as Miller's, which are able to come and invite you, the judges, to come.
I don't know companies, any company. There's no limit to which company. There's no limit to where you live. Like now, our challenge would be, if somebody lives too far, if a show is outside of Nairobi, we have to gather as much resources to make sure our jury gets to wherever you are. So for example, this weekend, there is a show in Eldoret, and we still have to consider that because we said Kenya Theatre Awards. It's not about
It's
just
not Nairobi
hanging. It's not
Theatre
Nairobi Theatre Awards, yeah.
So in terms of funding, where do you guys get the funding?
We try to find as much partners as possible. Our biggest support, of course, has been the Kenya Cultural Center. They support, and they actually host almost 90% of our shows. They host so many shows, and that has been an easy way for us to have a place and a station to work from, and also they are hosting the awards, so we don't have to struggle to find a new venue for the awards. Now, beyond that, we have friends of Kenya Theatre Awards, like the Goethe Institute, who help us with different things, whether it's technical work and helping the jury move around. Yeah, and we are always open to new faces and new sponsors, at any point.
Is there like a link or a website or a phone number they can reach you at?
Simple.
Kindly.
KenyaTheatreAwards.com.
KenyaTheatreAwards.com.
Yeah.
Awesome. Robinson, man, you're talented. What's next for you?
We have a play on the 8th and 9th of April. An original Miller script, Saumu Kombo, and we are hoping that you guys could have a chance and come and watch us. That's a big challenge because some people still think of theater like it's just acting ile ya chini chini or something like you just go and pass time with, but I assure you that there is a lot of entertainment when you come and watch those plays. You learn a lot. Yeah. So on the 8th and the 9th of April at the Kenya National Theatre, Millers is showcasing an original play. So
the 8th, that's on the 8th and the 9th of April.
Yes.
Awesome stuff. Jina ni?
Bado jina ijakuja, but itakuja katikati.
Script iko jikoni. Got you. Ursula, what's next for you?
What's next?
The Kenya Theatre Awards aside, for just a moment, what's next for Ursula?
For Ursula?
Yeah.
I am also an audiovisual artist, so I do have my film premiering in a festival, a small festival in free-to-air TV in the UK. So Latest Visions Film
in the
Festival.
UK, why not Kenya?
KBC, thank you. You're free to host my film.
you have to start with the national broadcaster so that we get the go-ahead to go outside.
Dear KBC, I have a film. Yeah, but yeah, so it's coming out in March for the International Women's Day.
Thank you guys so much for coming through the Kenya Theatre Awards. We're looking forward to the second installment. Like you said, big things happening, and of course so many talented individuals such as Robinson are going to be there. Thank you. Can you remind us the email once more before we sign off?
KenyaTheatreAwards.com, and if you'd like to join and see other artists, we will have space for you with a screen outside the theatre on the 23rd of February. That's next Thursday.
Thank you so much. Don't touch that dial. We're going to have a short musical break, then we'll be back with more interviews.
be right beside you, like the wall of Jericho. They don't know, they don't know, they don't know what's going on. Monagiso, 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 my baby boo. I'll be a soldier for you. I'm getting better in Kung Fu. You should know I got you, and you don't need to guide me too. I'll be right beside you in anything that you do. If you ever need saving, I will be running to you, running, running, running to you. I'll be running to you, running, running, running to you. Anywhere that you go to, running, running, running to you. I'll be running to you, running, running, running to you. Anywhere that you go to.
When I'm looking for trouble, it's cause I know that I got you. One more best everybody, oh oh. And it's because of your kung fu. And anytime that I'm out of control, you hold me down. You never, never let go. Yeah, Unagiso, 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 my baby boo. See all the battles you'll be fighting, and I'll be right there with you. I may be small, but I'm mighty, and I go running for you. And anybody wakes up big, yeah, don't be you, pull it up, be alright. And if I ever need saving, I'll be running to you.
Running, running, running to you. I'll be running to you, running, running, running to you. Anywhere that you go to, running, running, running to you. I'll be running to you, running, running, running to you.
You go there for me.
Anywhere that you go to, you don't need to worry, anything you want.
After the conclusion of an impressive Athletics Kenya Cross Country Championships, Team Kenya now sets her sight on the 44th edition of the Global Showpiece, the World Athletics Cross Country Championships Bathurst 23 in Australia. Lined up for the titles is Kenya's contingent of 30 world beaters, ready to contest with more than 550 athletes from over 60 nations. Enjoy these spectacular races from Bathurst, Australia on Saturday, 18 February 2023, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
That is a beautiful worship song by Esther wa Mudhamaki. Esther wa Mudhamaki. But there, I know my mom is watching me saying you better pronounce that properly. Thank you so much for joining us. That is a beautiful song.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think that's the only one in Swahili though.
Yeah, that is the only Swahili song. I just started singing Swahili. All my other songs are in Kikuyu.
They're in Kikuyu.
Yes.
Na tumeshukuru sana vile umekuja sasa kwa Good Morning Kenya to showcase.
Asante.
Tunafurahia sana kwa sababu leo tulisema lazima tu bless wale watu wanatuangalia huko nyumbani.
Amen.
Amen. Tuongelee about wewe Esther before ukue Esther wa Mudhamaki.
Before nikuwe Esther wa Mudhamaki, mimi ni Esther Gatimo. Mwangi is my husband. Nimeokoka, Yesu ni Bwana. Na mimi ni mama wa watoto, niko na watoto wengi. Nashukuru Mungu, ni baraka.
Growing up in the faith.
Yes, okay. Not really from pale chini, but at least I grew up in church. Paka pale nilifika, nikiwa high school ndio nilianza kukubali Yesu. Hivi nikaenda hivi, lakini sasa kusimama vizuri ni wakati nilikuwa nishaanza kufanya kazi. Najua high school kuna mambo mengi inafanyanga mtu akakaa hivi. Acha nisiseme ati nilisimama sana nikiwa huko.
Kweli kuliendaje? Ni kitu unaweza tuambia?
Asi ati kulienda ni vile tu msichana akijua ni mrembo akigrow. Kuna vitu tu ufanyika tu, unajipata tu. Lakini Yesu yuko bado.
Before upate the mister.
And that one also. Inaingilia hapo.
But it's interesting because you know the thing is, especially when it comes to gospel music, watu wanakuwaga wanasahau bado wewe ni binadamu na uko na historia.
Ni kweli.
Au kuzaliwa ati wewe tu ni mtu msafi, unajua ati haiwezekani. So hata nikuulize hivi, ilifika point gani ndio ukasema hii ndio ministry yangu?
Ilifika when I was growing up, nilikuwa napenda sana uimbaji, lakini nilikuwa sikuwahi fikiria ati naweza fanya hivi until last year. That is when I started singing, composing and recording my own songs. Hapo mbeleni nilikuwa naimba za wenyewe, naimbia bathroom, bila kujua kwamba I can do it myself. Until one day, siku moja tu niliamka tu nikaandika wimbo.
Naweza kumbuka hiyo wimbo wa kwanza?
Wimbo yangu ya kwanza niliandika inaitwa Njamba Yaita, za Kikuyu song. Lakini ile nilimaliza kwanza inaitwa Muthamaki wa Thayo. Hiyo ndio nilimaliza kwanza kabisa. It's recorded, iko zote ziko YouTube.
Muthamaki wa Thayo.
Yes.
Na hapo ndio Esther wa Muthamaki alizaliwa?
Hapo ndipo ilianza kuzaliwa sasa Esther wa Muthamaki.
Tupigie kidogo hiyo.
Haya. Inaitwa Muthamaki wa Thayo. Muthamaki wa Thayo, ogotora uthamakaga, muthamaki wa Zayuni, thamaka tene na tene. This is how it goes. Tihende aja guthamaka, aturite muthamaki, na egotore muthamaki, thamake mende na mende, muthamaki wa Thayo, ogotora uthamakaga, muthamaki wa Zayuni, thamaka tene na tene.
Amen.
Amen.
Tulikuwa tunaongea earlier, kulikuwa na interview. Tulikuwa tunaongea about gospel being a ministry.
Yes.
Thus far, ever since joining in and ministering to people through your gift music, umekuwa umepata challenge gani?
Challenges ziko mingi. First of all, kupenya kwa hii ministry. Industry ministry, kupenya si rahisi. Lazima uwe unajulikana, ndio watu waweze kusikiza nyimbo zako, watu waweze kusikiza message ulioko nayo. Lazima uwe umepenya. So marketing those songs usually is a challenge. I don't live here, I live in UK. So mimi kumarket nikiwa huko na audience wenye niko nao wako huku ni ngumu sana. Still recording huko ni challenges sababu like my producer is Scottish but I'm singing Kikuyu. My video director is Nigerian. But I'm singing Kikuyu. So mimi sasa I end up being the producer and the video director because they don't understand what I'm saying, you know. So it's a challenge, and it's of course it's a bit expensive. Production there is expensive than here. So yeah. Those are some of the challenges we are going through.
Na nikuulize, in terms of now living in the UK, ulikuwa unapata temptation ya kuimba in English instead of your mother tongue?
I have so many choruses in English, but sijawahi maliza hata moja. But I know why. Kama Mungu ameniita kwa sababu ya wale wako Kenya, it has to be. Wakati wa Mungu ukifika, I'm sure grace ya kuimba nyimbo za kizungu nitapata.
And I'm sure umeangalia the UK industry and music, not the gospel artists.
Yeah.
And of course kuna hiyo comparison since uko ndio home. In terms of Kenyan gospel music and UK gospel music, is there a disconnect? Ama unaona they're one and the same? Ama are we in the right direction? That's what I'm asking.
Let me say we are. There's a little disconnect somehow, if I may say, because wanaangalianga vitu differently. Like now when I say I am born again, kuna ile vitu nafuatilia mimi nikijua nafuata Yesu kwa sababu nimeamua kufuata Yesu. But things they are different. They take life as life, just life, you know. So anajua kuna Mungu ndio, lakini kuna Mungu tu. Inaishia tu hapo. So things are totally different.
So religion and the way they perceive religion is different huko.
Very different. Yeah.
Inakupatia challenge pia kuandika being in that environment?
Hainipati challenge. Hainipati challenge kwa sababu as long as you listen to what God is saying. You read the Bible sana, soma tu Bible sana, utapata something which inspires you. Or sometimes God just wants you to write a message, but send it as a song. Just listen and obey. Hakuna difference. Siwezi say Michael.
And there are people who are watching you right now, of course, because we are streaming live on YouTube. That's at KBC Channel 1 TV.
Okay.
In the UK. Najua wase wa home wanakuangalia sasa and they're very proud of you. So did you just come to promote your music only? Or there's some other business?
Here in Kenya, we are on holiday actually.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I do every time I come on holiday. I record some music.
And then you promote it.
Yeah, and then I promote it.
Do you feel like that back and forth is it hectic? Is it easy? Or
it is not. I won't say it is, because like now every time I come I don't record just one song. I do many. And when I go back I can release after a while. I release one and all that. So inakuanga tu sawa.
Itakuwa tu sawa.
Itakuwa tu sawa.
What's next for Esther wa Mudhamaki?
What next is a lot of other songs. I have many right now waiting to be released. And what next is I just want to spread this gospel to the whole world. I started with Kikuyu songs. Now I have 2 Swahili songs so far, one to be released, and I know very soon I'm going to write an English song, so I can reach the whole world.
Yes. I was listening to the songs and they are more worship.
Yes.
Can I call your genre worship?
No, actually I have like 5 praise songs in Kikuyu.
Praise and worship.
Just praise, they need the first beat. Then you can dance. But more of them are worship. More songs are worship.
More songs are worship. Do you feel you gravitate towards that essence of worship with your music more than
praise? Let me say, okay, I love worship so much. And I love praise, but there's only one challenge in praise songs: the dancing. You know, you can't write a praise song and just stand here.
I want us to dance. Let me ask my producer to cue a danceable track. Which one in particular is more danceable? Which is the one you like the most?
Toine tokenete.
So my producer is going to organize that. We're going to conclude with that. But before then, of course, your YouTube channel is Esther wa Mudhamaki.
Esther wa Mudhamaki official.
Official?
Yes.
Esther wa Mudhamaki. Let me try to spell it for the people who might not know this French.
Yes.
Mudhamaki.
Yes.
M-U-T-H-A-M-A-K-I.
Esther wa Mudhamaki official.
Official. That's on YouTube. Make sure you go and support her music. She's doing a lot of great things. Navilo Meskia, this year is a big year. Just releasing music, yeah? And let me ask you this, especially as someone who comes to record from abroad. Is it easier to compile an album or just release singles? Because I've noticed there's a trend. These days people just do singles. So what is easier for you as someone who's always traveling?
I think it's easier when you release as singles, because before people used to record albums and sell CDs. As in the CD, you have many songs as an album. But today, we do them on social media and the platforms like YouTube. You just post your link and the song there, and they can listen to the song. So I think, I think that's a good trade.
So you
Because
feel
who
it's
are you
easier for the
selling to
artists?
CDs right now? Nobody.
No one is buying CDs
No one
anymore.
is buying CDs.
It's an interesting world, and those challenges aside, of course, kuna the beauty of being able to release music as fast as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So anything in terms of, okay, there's the worship and praise. Now there's the new Swahili.
Yes.
Are you going to try to experiment? Since you said it's not just strictly praise and worship, are you going to try? Because there's this new genre that people are trying, the kapuka beat. It's, what do they call it in gospel? Okay, in secular they call it gengeton. Yeah.
In gospel they call it?
Okay, the likes of Moji Papa. Are you acquainted with them?
No.
Bazokizo, things of that nature.
What?
You know. I was actually trying to test your knowledge of Kenyan gospel music because that's why there's that controversy. People were saying in terms of Kenyan music, they're making more dance songs than songs for God. Have you sampled some of the Kenyan songs, and do you feel the same way, or do you feel like, you know, to each his own?
But you see, dancing for God is good. The Bible tells us that David did until his clothes fell off. You know, the dancing for God. So when we look at that, actually that song Toine to Kenete is derived from one of the David dancings. So it is good to dance for the Lord.
Dance.
Yeah. If you what intention do you have when you are writing that song? Do you want to write that song to just dance, people could see that you are dancing, or you are writing it to praise God and dance for God? You know? Yeah, I think we should look at it like that.
From that perspective.
Yes.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much for coming through to Good Morning Kenya. We wish you nothing but the very best.
Thank you very much.
When are you returning back to the UK?
Next week.
Johnny Masses.
Thank you very much.
And of course, the people back at home, we promised them a song. The producer is going to play a track and we're going to dance.
Thank you. We will.
If possible, we're also going to worship because the people back at home have to join us.
Amen. Amen. We
Thank
have
you.
to.
This is Esther Wamudamaki.
You're such a man, oh, and on your shawty.
Baby, walai, sijui anything about it. Ukinicheki tu na dem, una perepe, unadhani mimi nitampa sekete.
Ukicheki dem, una perepe, unataka tu kumpa sekete.
Tangi, you are my love, love.
Baby, unahanya, hanya. You're not my love, hanya.
Oh baby, my heart is bleeding.
You're such a liar, show me the blood. You're such a liar, liar. You're such a liar, liar.
Mwanamke, mimi sio liar. Hey. Mwanamke, mimi sio liar. Hey.
Nieleze ya nyango ni nani?
Honey, nilishakwambia.
Na wadhera ni nani?
Oh baby, nilishakwambia.
Hey boy. Sitaki ufala.
Hey girl, sina ufala. Ufala gani tena maloga?
What you lover, usinipandishe hasira.
Akili inaruka na chizi.
Machizi tu.
Hata kupumua sipumui, wana mimi nakufa mami. Ukinicheki tu na dem, una perepe, unadhani mimi nitampa sekete.
Ukicheki dem, una perepe, unataka tu kumpa sekete.
Tangi, you are my love.
Baby, unahanya. You're not my love, hanya.
Oh baby, my heart is bleeding.
You're such a liar, show me the blood. You're such a liar. You're such a liar,
Mwanamke, mimi sio liar. Hey. Mwanamke, mimi sio liar. Hey.
When you sekete, unataka. When you sekete, when you sekete, unataka. When you sekete.
Maondo ine masho mothe tukiugiatia Gayare mwana witono ngekero wanaigwe Ucio taigana gũcaĩra mũrũ wake wa mũmwe Angĩkorwo nĩ atũheire ũcio nĩkĩ atangĩtũhe Wendo wa Ngai mũnene thĩinĩ wa Kristo Jesu Jesu Kristo mũtũro werĩ Mũtũgitĩri mũtũthaithanĩrĩri
how was your Valentine? Can you account for your person? Bado tunauliza, how was your Valentine? Can you account? Ama wewe ni mfalme wa mapenzi?
My person was in Naivasha.
What's a 2-year story? Smita, Mwali, hamujarudi. Umetuacha hapa na husband ya huyu pia.
Boni amechukua pengine.
I want to know the situation. Voglio sapere tutto. Na come italiano.
So it is amazing how they sang in both languages, and it came out so flawlessly, like as if they belong in those languages, which is now it brings the beauty of what Kenya is all about.
Tukue tuna handshake.
Eh?
Sikuifanya Zawadi.
Sijasema tulifanya.
Najua. Lakini mimi nasema tu.
Gabriel, you better get my boy back home, or I swear to God, the world will not be big enough for the both of us. And yes, that's a threat.
Lakini si maji yetu.
Unamaanisha nini hizi kwa maji yenyu? Mimi mwenyewe nilimpata kwa pipes za kisima.
Wewe, rudi hapa. Nini unanipatia habari nusu? Rudi.
I don't think you understand. I said I want to rest. And I can't do that with you here in this house.
Kila jaribio ni funzo na kila funzo ni baraka, ikiwa tu utachagua kupata mafunzo. Wananita catapult boy, the bad lord. Am I loud? Leo menipata na bad mood, nitawachana I say. Nimejam juu siku hizi kwa church ni fashion na showbiz, na si preaching na sala. Eti cheki vile amedunga na tisha, ametesa I say. Next time I'll copy that. Nimejam juu wase wanakatiana sana kwa church. Place inafaa kuwa praise na worship, imebadilika from fellowship of the Holy Spirit to relationship of immoral spirits. Ni maselfie, shoots ni kibao, wow. Why? Zinafanyika sana juu word haiko kwa world. Tumefeli I say. Nimejam na wepa si. Mbona kujifanya unaongoza kondoo, na ilhali unazidisha appetite yako ya kuchinja na kula kondoo. Ufala, unasema let it be served ikiwa bado mbichi, badala ya kuserve ka example na wa sample unaotafuna ujali. Nimejam juu umegeuza church kuwa duka, unauza upako baraka, na siku hizi zako ni leta do ndio maombi fanye kazi. Una preach eti ukikam kwa Jesus utapata magari, manyumba, bibi na bwana. Ni kweli, lakini mbona umesahau pasi? The Bible says utafuta ufalme wa Mungu na yote watawai. Nimejam.
Yani ngoma ingine kali sana, lakini nimejam because ya vile anataka ni pronounce ngoma. Hii name ni Devad. Devad Loud. Karibu kwa studio.
Thank you so much, Maze.
Exceptional beer.
Shukran, bro.
So Devad is a gospel artist.
Yep.
Devad is also a businessman.
Yep.
Let's talk about you in gospel first, because today is gospel, yes. Notice, and we want to discuss this industry vizuri sana.
Yep.
Tumeongea in terms of worship, in terms of ministry. Now I want to talk in terms of vijana na youth.
Yes.
Na vile hii gospel inatupeleka. For instance, this is an example. We just watched your video, Nimejam.
Yep.
And you were telling me, more of a freestyle than a song.
Yep.
And let's discuss now the genre ya youth in gospel.
Mostly unajua mayouth na hii age yenye tuko wanapenda ile kitu inawasisimua, like wana jump, wana dance, yani ni kitu wana feel, wanataka kitu inawa feel. But ukiangalia nimejam ni kitu utaisikiza sana than ku dance. Una get cause juu ya message. Yes.
Now nimejam.
Yep.
Ukisema ni freestyle, mimi nasikia ni kama more of like spoken word poetry.
Yep, kinda, but siwezi sema ni spoken word because you know, spoken word iko na rhythm na system fulani yenye wase ufanya. Iko na kinda like music, kinda like a music rhythm on it. So, yep.
So kuna watu, now that we're talking about genres za mayut in terms of gospel, kuna wale wanasemaga hizi za gospel siku hizi za mayut zina borderline mahali zinazaitwa hata secular somehow. Unaonaje?
Unajua
kama unakumbuka
bazokizo nakumbuka sana so kitu naweza sema unajua ni vile msee ameelewa song. Unajua kitambo tulikuwa tunaambiwa ati music mtu anaandika ngoma unasikia tu Jesus, hiyo ni gospel, but ukiangalia the lyrics za mostly yenye sisi tunafanya hata wewe mwenyewe utajua this is a gospel song ama this is not a gospel song. Ina differ hivyo. Yep.
Now kuna mtu mwenye amekuwa approach about it in terms of maybe unaweza face challenge ukienda hivi.
Yeah, unajua wase ubonga, kila mtu ubonga, kila msako na opinion yake. Huyu atakuja kuambia mazee mimi naisikia hivi, mwingine anakuambia nasikia hivi, but at the end of the day ni message imefika home. Yep.
Interesting. Ale ulisema nisikupatie challenge. So ndacheza kama mimi.
Safi.
Kuna zile zenye perhaps watu wataweza kupata opportunity until they go to your YouTube channel.
Yes.
First of all, Devad.
Yep.
Loud. Is that yenye kwa ID?
No. That's my usani. Yeah, that's kwa music. Don't have to divide loud.
Sitakuuliza ya Gava.
Naweza isema pia bado.
Lakini unaweza isema lakini sitakuuliza hiyo. Tuongee Devad.
Okay,
Devad loud. The inspiration to the name.
Okay, Devad, you know, mimi nilianza music kitambo sana. Maybe I was not that serious, but music was in me. So I remember when I went to Form 1 way back in 2004. Nilikuwa already na song yangu. So niliingianga shule ka minister. So nilikuwa naitwa Davis. That's my real name, Davis. So there is a song I did na ilifanya poa sana. So I used to tulikuwa tunaenda hizo outings. So nenda outings unasikia nani alifanya ngoma. So there's a time I was performing kwa shule, so many schools zilikuwa zimekam. So I performed and then mwalimu akakuja akasema amependa hiyo song. Mpaka kuna wasichana girls school wameandika lyrics nyuma ya kitabu. Akasema nani amefanya hiyo wimbo? Wakaanza kusema Devad. So akasema Dev, come and add us some more. So crowd ikakuwa Dev add. Ikakam hiyo. So that's how I got my name, Devad.
Oh, Devad.
So I believe anything I come across, I add value. I add value, Devad.
Kali sana Buddha.
Yeah, shukran.
Now let's talk about the style though.
Yep.
Unafanya nitake kurudi back to the I need to go back to the drawing board.
Why? It's uko sawa mazee. I love the way you look.
Maisha usanii ni ngumu. In terms of always, you know, you have to be looking a certain way.
Yeah, because
ukika funny utajipata kwa some gossip column au vipi?
Yeah. It happens.
Do you feel the pressure?
No, I don't, because me nimeshaji package. I know what people want and I know what I want. So whatever I do, what vile mimi na dress ina portray what Devad is. Yes.
Now the chain.
Yep.
Although kuna vile it's stunning.
Thank you so much.
But inagwara mic. Kuna vile unaweza tu hivi kidogo.
Ni
hapo iko sawa kabisa. Okay. Iko sawa kabisa. Now in terms of appearances kuna vile tulikuwa tunaongea now, let's stick to the genre. Kuna vile Easy Bazokizo. Let me be honest with you. I was one of them. Before I had a conversation with Kolo.
Yep.
Alikuwa ananielezea just like you know, Esther Wamudhamake was explaining to us and the audience back at home.
Yep.
Could dance kwa Biblia kuna mahali imeandikwa David danced hadi nguo ikatoka.
Yeah? Yes.
So kuna vile maybe we're being too harsh. Do you agree? Maybe we're being too harsh to, especially the youth who are trying to put their best foot forward in terms of gospel music and the ministry. Because, you know, that's the world they come from. And like you said, wanapenda fun.
Yes.
So ukitoa ngoma lazima ikuwe fun. So una feel ni kama people are being too harsh and too judgmental to gospel artists. Let me give you a very quick example. There's a dude mwana anajita, president of an art, maybe in comedy.
Yep.
There's a dude somewhere. Mwenye alikuwa anasema gospel artists nyinyi wote kuna vile mmepotea. Perhaps you had a conversation like that somewhere.
Yes, I did.
Do you feel like he's being too harsh? Do you share the sentiment? Where are you? Okay, conversation.
Kitu naweza sema, unajua in life kila mtu anaishi life yake. But again, kuna a portion alisema iko right na kuna a portion alisema I don't agree with it. Because unakuja unapata vile mtu amejieka unaget kama gospel artist. Unajua kuna kitu ni grace, kuna kila mtu uko na grace yake. So when you are uko kwa limelight uko na grace flani, the moment the grace inatoka unatoka. So I had adilisikia akisema ati hakuna gospel Kenya. Gospel is still there. Kuna remnants wamebaki kama mimi, tunakuja bado tuko kwa njia tunakam. So gospel is still there. Gospel is alive. Yes.
There are people who are watching you back at home, and unfortunately now na time ndio imepita kiasi. Before we exit, good morning Kenya. Thank you by the way for coming through.
Thank you so much.
Kuna some young people who are watching you and they're like Devad, loud. I want to be like that guy. I want to be fearless and give my message in this ministry. Just a short 1-minute message before we conclude.
What I can tell those when you're home wale wanafeel wanataka kuwa kama mimi ama kama watu wengine ni, you know, if you believe in yourself na wewe ni ule mtu mwenye you want to do it, like unajua one day I'll be there. Work hard, put God first, tia bidii. Itajipa siku moja.
Itajipa siku moja.
Kabisa.
Unajua umekam na hiyo package, uko na hiyo look, alafu na ile swag, hata ukibonga. I need some notes on this.
Thank you so much. Najaribu, unajua ukiji express na gestures na feeling, and I believe mtu anaipata more.
Dude, I need these notes.
Thank you so
I need these notes. You know, I'll go somewhere. I feel like I'll go somewhere once I have a conversation with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming through. Umesema ni jam, nisikupressure kwanza na hiyo.
Yeah, but the other kuna songs zingine pia nimefanya
na watu wanaweza kupata wapi?
Nini ukienda IG, Instagram utanipata kama Devad Loud. Facebook pia utanipata kama Devad Loud. So all social media.
Ngoja. Unasema Devad Loud?
Yep.
But let's not assume they know how to spell it. Let's spell it together.
Okay, Devad Loud is D-E-V-A-D-D-L-A-U-D. Loud means praise.
But it's L-A-U-D.
Yes. Yep.
Let's do the Devad again.
Devad is D-E-V-A-D-D.
Double D. Devad Loud. Unazampata on every social media platform. Cool cat, very cool cat. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you so much for having me.
And of course, go support his music. Nemejam is the song we're going to play as we conclude Good Morning Kenya. It was Entertainment Thursday. I'm Mike Itai. Doreen was joining us, and of course, Marie with the news. Until next week. Cheers.
It's me, Devad Loud. I just wanna know you more and more. Teach me, God. Nimekuwa nikihangaika, shida nyingi zanikumba. Vyakula, mavazi hakuna, ingawa naambiwa wewe uko Baba. Tajiweka wapi? Dunia ni kama hainitaki. Nichome na moto wako, uniweke niwe sambamba. Hao wanichukia, chini waniita majina. Ninajua jina langu ni moja, mtoto wa mfalme mmoja. Ninukie, nipiganie. Wacha wajue. Ninukie, nipiganie. Wacha wajue. Mimi nataka nikuone. Kila saa nikujue. Moyo wangu wakutafuta. Moyo wangu wakutafuta. Tata mwana n'omutima mulungi omutukurivu yo kakaluka nenzeza nkira katonda ewe mutima gwange ewe bulamu bwange mina nataka tunkujue uso wako mimi niuone nikufuate
nishakubali niko hapa. Mimi nataka nikuone, nikuone, nikuone. Kila saa nikujue, nikujue, nikujue. Moyo wangu wakutafuta, wakutafuta. Moyo wangu wakutafuta.
Maisha ni mafupi, hivyo si vyema kumaliza muda mwingi katika malumbano. Hesabu baraka zako, wathamini rafiki zako na tabasamu ili udumishe amani.
Kupata maisha, bonyeza *811 *816 hash. *811 *816 hash.
How was your Valentine? Can you account for your person? Bado tunauliza, how was your Valentine? Can you account? Ama wewe ni mfalme wa mapenzi?
My person was in Naivasha.
What's a 2 year story? Smita, Mwali, hamujarudi. Umetuacha hapa na wewe husband ya huyu pia.
Boni amechukua pengine.
I want to know the situation. Voglio sapere tutto. Na proprio anche italiano.
So it is amazing how they both sang in both languages, and it came out so flawlessly, like as if they belong in those languages, which is now it brings the beauty of what Kenya is all about.
Sisi tukue tuna handshake.
Hii ni mitikasi leo, makala kutoka BBC. Yaliyomo: mwanasheria mkuu wa Nigeria atoa wito kwa mahakama kuu nchini humo kutupilia mbali kesi ya kusitisha utumizi wa noti mpya za naira. Baadaye ubalozi wa Marekani waonya kuhusu shambulio la kigaidi nchini Kenya. Kisha tunamulika kuhusu fungu la mchanga baharini ambalo ni kivutio kikuu cha utalii nchini Tanzania. Mubashara kutoka Nairobi, Kenya. Usiende mbali. Hujambo na karibu katika makala haya maalum ya habari za biashara zinazokuhusu, uchambuzi wa kina na mahojiano. Jina langu mie ni Hamida Abubakar. Mwanasheria mkuu wa Nigeria Abubakar Malami ameiomba mahakama kuu ya nchi hiyo kutupilia mbali kesi iliyowasilishwa na magavana watatu ambayo ilisitisha uzinduzi wa sarafu za noti mpya za naira. Kesi hiyo iliwasilishwa na magavana wa majimbo ya Kaduna, Kogi na Zamfara na inadai kwamba tarehe ya mwisho ya ubadilishanaji wa sarafu za noti ya Februari 10 imesababisha hali ngumu ya kimaisha ambayo huenda ikaishia kwa machafuko ya kiusalama. Mnamo Novemba mwaka jana, Benki Kuu ya Nigeria iliunda upya sarafu za noti za naira 200, 500 na 1000 ili kuweza kudhibiti mfumuko wa bei na matumizi ya fedha bandia. Mchakato huo pia ulinuia kutatua matatizo ya mzunguko wa fedha katika uchumi wa nchi hiyo, ambapo kati ya dola bilioni 7.5 za Marekani ambazo zilikuwa kwenye mzunguko na takriban dola bilioni 6.1 zilikuwa nje ya hifadhi za benki za kibiashara. Inakadiriwa kwamba zaidi ya 40% ya raia wa Nigeria hawafikii huduma za mabenki. Kutokana na hali hii, kumekuwa na foleni ndefu ya watu nje ya mabenki wakitaka sarafu mpya. Hebu tupate kauli za baadhi ya wananchi.
Tupo kwenye foleni, tumekuwa hapa tangu asubuhi.
Mvua imenyesha hadi sasa imeisha na bado tupo kwenye foleni. Bado tunajaribu kuona iwapo tutapata noti mpya.
Hebu niangalie jinsi nilivyoloa jasho. Nimetoka kwenye ATM na sijaweza kupata fedha.
Watu wanaumia sana. Hakuna fedha, hakuna chakula, kuna vitu vingi ambavyo hakuna. Tunaishi tu kwa neema ya Mungu. Na sasa kuna uchaguzi ambao unakaribia. Badala ya wanasiasa wanaofanya kampeni kutuambia wataleta suluhu gani, wanatoa lawama tu.
Nimekuwa kwa foleni kwa zaidi ya saa 4 na sikuweza kutoa fedha zangu kwenye benki. Kwa hivyo sijafurahia hilo. Inauma sana. Hii sio Nigeria ninayojua mimi. Watu wanaumia. Ona foleni hapa.
Kwa sasa tutupie macho taarifa zingine za biashara kutoka barani Afrika na kimataifa. Marekani imetoa tahadhari ya usalama kwa raia wake nchini Kenya kuhusu mashambulizi ya kigaidi yanayoweza kutokea nchini humo. Ujumbe huo unaonya kuwa hoteli, balozi, migahawa na maduka ya jumla yanayotembelewa na wageni wa kitalii yanaweza kushambuliwa. Haya yanajiri saa chache baada ya mamlaka nchini Kenya kutangaza majina ya wanaume 5 wanaosakwa kwa ajili ya kuwa na uhusiano na kundi la Al-Shabaab. Viongozi wa Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki wamehimiza kuharakisha na kutuma wanajeshi wa ziada chini ya kikosi cha kikanda mashariki mwa Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo. Rais wa zamani wa Kenya Uhuru Kenyatta, ambaye anasimamia mazungumzo ya amani baina ya Rwanda na DRC, amesema wanajeshi zaidi wanatakiwa kudhibiti maeneo ambayo makundi yenye silaha yamejiondoa kwa mujibu wa makubaliano ya kusitisha mapigano ya Luanda. Haya yanajiri huku cheche za maneno zikitanda kati ya nchi hizo mbili. Na serikali ya Ethiopia imesema itauza hadi 45% ya kampuni ya mawasiliano ya Ethio Telecom inayomilikiwa na serikali kutoka kwa usemi wa awali wa 40%. Ethiopia ilizindua mchakato wa uuzaji wa sehemu ya kampuni hiyo mwaka 2021 kama hatua ya kufungua uchumi wa nchi hiyo na kuifanya kampuni hiyo ambayo ina wateja milioni 44 kuwa na ushindani na ufanisi zaidi. Hii ni Mitikasi Leo kutoka BBC, tutakayoangazia hivi punde fungu la mchanga wa baharini nchini Tanzania. Karibu tena. Mafui ni fungu la mchanga baharini linalotembelewa kwa ratiba kama mwali nchini Tanzania. Watalii hufika katika eneo hilo kwa kutembea mwendo wa kilomita 6. Ni utalii wa kipekee Afrika Mashariki. Fungu hili linajitokeza kuanzia saa 7 hadi mwendo wa saa 10 jioni, wakati maji yanajaa tena. Mwandishi wa BBC Frank Mavura ametembelea eneo hilo na kuandaa taarifa hii.
Mafui ni eneo lenye mchanga baharini. Wenyeji wa Bagamoyo huliita fungu la mchanga. Kuliona fungu hili ni lazima ufuate taratibu na ratiba maalum, na pengine kwa muktadha huu leo fungu la mchanga la Mafui ni maarufu kwa jina la mwali.
Kwa hiyo ili uweze kufika lazima uje muda ambapo maji yamekupwa, kama leo hii, kama saa hii maji ndio yanaendelea kupwa. Kwa hiyo fungu hili linaonekana ni fungu la kipekee kwa sababu limezungukwa na coral reefs na viumbe bahari wengi ambao wanapatikana katika eneo hili. Kwa hiyo hili liko ndani ya hifadhi ya taifa ya Sadani na lina uwezo wa kuonekana kwa masaa kuanzia 2 mpaka 3, alafu baadaye linafunikwa na mchanga na bahari na kupotea kabisa.
Sasa kitaalamu, fungu hili la mchanga bahari huundwaje?
Kila ukiona kuna kisiwa au mlima, basi kwa pembeni yake, kwa upande wa kaskazini au katikati ya hicho kimlima, kuna kuwa na sehemu ya fungu, na hili linatengenezwa kwa sababu ya nguvu za maji na huu mchanga ambao unakuwa deposited, mawimbi yakikutana sehemu ambayo imenyanyuka. Lile ni fungu liko juu ya mwamba. Kuna sehemu chache ambazo zina mwamba hazina fungu, na hii ni kwa sababu mchanga ukirundikwa kwenye sehemu kuna process ya erosion na kuna deposition. Kwa hiyo sehemu ambapo deposition inakuwa kubwa, mchanga unakuwa mwingi. Kwa hali hiyo, kama fungu liko hapo, mara nyingi utakuta utalii pale unaonekana wanakuja kwenye fungu lakini utalii mzuri unakuwa kwenye matumbawe ambayo yanakaribiana na fungu.
Je, wananchi wanauelewa wa kutosha juu ya sehemu kama hizi?
Sehemu kama hiyo, yani ni sehemu ambayo inavutia, ni sehemu nzuri sana sana. Mimi nishawahi kwenda. Yani ukienda kule hata kama una stress za aina yoyote kule unarudi yani kichwa hakina stress, umetoa stress zote, unakuta unarudi na kichwa chako kizuri.
Mpaka nafika umri huu kwa kweli sijawahi kukutana na fungu la mchanga baharini, sijawahi kule. Zaidi ya visiwa, lakini kwamba nimekuta mchanga tu umejirundika baharini, sijawahi kukutana nayo.
Serikali iweze kuweka miundombinu kwa ajili ya wale watu wa hali ya chini kama sisi ambao hatujawahi kusikia vitu kama hivyo, na tukaweza kufika kwenda kuona sehemu zenye michanga kama hizo, zikaweza kutufanya na sisi kuona kutakuwa na mandhari nzuri na kuweka kumbukumbu na historia nzuri kwenye maisha yetu.
Wengi wa wanaofika hapa hufurahia muundo wake, ulaini wa mchanga, na wengine hata kuvishana pete za uchumba kwa wanandoa watarajiwa. Frank Mavura, BBC, Bagamoyo, Pwani.
Naam, tukiachana nayo tumulike mengine ambapo rais wa Eritrea Isaias Afwerki amekanusha taarifa za madai ya uhalifu wa kivita uliofanywa na vikosi vyake katika mapigano kaskazini mwa Ethiopia. Akitoa tamko la nadra kuhusu vita hivyo, Afwerki anasema madai hayo ni taarifa potofu zinazotolewa na watu ambao hawafurahii makubaliano ya amani yaliyofikiwa kati ya serikali ya Ethiopia na vikosi vya Tigray kwa lengo la kukomesha mzozo huo. Hii hapa taarifa ya Emmanuel Igunza kutoka Nairobi.
Ni tabasamu wakati rais wa Eritrea Isaias Afwerki alipomaliza ziara yake rasmi ya siku 2 nchini Kenya. Viongozi hao wawili wameelezea tukio hili kuwa la kihistoria na wametia saini makubaliano ya kufungua fursa za biashara kati ya mataifa yao.
To facilitate growth in trade and connectivity.
Ili kufanya biashara na usafiri kwa urahisi, tumeamua kuondoa cheti cha usafiri cha visa kutoka leo.
Effective today.
Raia wa Kenya na Eritrea hawatohitaji tena visa kutembelea nchi hizo baada ya masharti hayo kuondolewa, na sasa Kenya inapanga kufungua ubalozi wake mjini Asmara.
Viongozi hao walijadili masuala kadhaa ikiwemo biashara na uwekezaji kati ya mataifa ya Eritrea na Kenya, lakini masuala makuu kuhusu mzozo unaoendelea nchini Ethiopia na kuhusika kwa vikosi vya Eritrea nchini humo, maswali hayo bado hayajajibiwa.
Katika mkutano na waandishi wa habari jijini Nairobi, suala la kujihusisha kwa Eritrea katika vita vya wenyewe kwa wenyewe nchini Ethiopia lijitokeza. Mashirika ya kutetea haki za binadamu yakivituhumu vikosi vya Eritrea kwa kuwaua raia wasio na silaha, ubakaji na uporaji ulioenea huko Tigray.
A fantasy of those who want. Hizi ni fikra potofu kwa wanaotaka kuchelewesha mchakato wa amani. Kila mtu anazungumzia suala la haki za binadamu. Nasema hivi, mnapoteza muda wenu. Fikra potofu kwa wale ambao wanamiliki kiwanda hiki ambacho wanakiita kiwanda cha kupotosha taarifa. Hizi ni taarifa zinawapotosha